Um, yeah, so this game takes place during the same timeline as the Saga of the Kings game. Normally run on my Sunday evenings. Um, and the implications and goings on of this session will have repercussions in that game. That said, the group here today are a group of what are known as arrows, which is kind of a catch-all title for servants of the Church of Atavius, which has taken over in rulership of the city of Osiria, the capital city of the former nation of Osiria, which was ruled by three kings, triumvirs, who ruled from their own kingdoms. Belum, a large, massive city on the south western side of the kingdom of Munio, is ruled by merchant lords and is seen as a very important place because it is kind of a bastion for invention and also for self aggrandizement, self betterment in the financial fields. So a lot of merchants have been looking at Belum very thoroughly as a place to set up camp and basically work in trade with the kingdom of Munio, directly with the capital of Osiria. The arrows have been sent to help work out a trade dispute between the merchant council. Apparently, the seven merchant lords are in dispute as to whether or not a rail system for a locomotive can be built through Belum and on up the Azurite Road, or Azur Road, through the town of Mudis and further past the town of Mudis, hopefully past those peaks into the city of Ursulon, far to the north, and even further on down the road to the capital of the kingdom of Munio itself. That said, the group has traveled for a time and is arriving in the city of Belum. Its most notable feature is the similarity to the Osirian capital. Osiria itself is surrounded by marble white walls, very magnificent and glorious in their height and also in their splendor. Belum follows that same tradition. However, where Osiria is built as a city in a circle, Belum has very sharp angles on its exterior. Very much noticeable that it is a bit more angular and less round than the capital city. Most people know that Belum's curtain wall footprint basically forms out the shape of a seven-pointed star. Very important in the battles that happened during the Civil War between Munio and Ludos. Ludos using a lot of cannon technology, a lot of large artillery-style magic use was used by the Kingdom of Ludos because they were in league with the organization as a conglomerate. That said, you enter into the city easy enough as a group, well enough aware of one another, but obviously not aware of each other as it stands. So I'm going to open the table to you. I'm going to start, obviously, with the player in my top left, and then just circle around to the end point there. So Chris Chody, tell us a little bit about your character, Panlos.
Palos is a halfling. He grew up as a thief in a way, and he was thieving and was caught by a bit of a danger and was saved by one of the church arrows actually from the past. He was brought up in the church because the arrow at the time felt like he had some doing about him, and he learned after he was bored with his rogue abilities. He actually pushed into more of a wizarding aspect to take up his time because when he was bored, he was getting in trouble.
Okay.
But halfling, sandy hair, short, tan skin, very plain looking, doesn't stand out much.
So generally in the church, you serve as kind of like a sage or a scribe, basically working in
Mm-hmm.
the libraries while maintaining a studious affection to the arcane arts. Very good. All
Yep.
right. Andy, tell us a bit about Kyotaro.
Kyotaro is a wood elf. He is dressed in loose-fitting robes and has a katana-like sword at his side. He is an acolyte and has always been involved with the church. Was taken on for monk training when it became clear that his great speed and showed potential for martial skill.
Okay, so just a bit of backstory to understand a bit about the usage of samurai style aspects in Osaria, just to make sure that you all understand that it is effectively there's a reason behind it. Osaria has a very Greek-inspired culture, but in earlier times had wars with Seiryu, the Osaria Teagai Shitai Wars, and several things passed back and forth between the two cultures. So there are several monasteries to the philosophies and traditions of the people of Syria to the southeast that are utilized in the Osirian capital. So one of those monasteries is probably who you currently serve, and they, in greater purpose, serve the church. Okay. Kevin, tell us a bit about Petey.
All right. Petey is a halfling. He also has sandy brown hair and tan-like skin. But he looks different than other halflings you may know because he's very like wiry. He's real thin, and like what most people don't know is he had a pretty sordid background as a charlatan, and then eventually he kind of changed his mind about doing those sort of things and started working to help out. And he still has a lot of rogue-like skills that he uses to get what he wants to get done. Sometimes people hire him because he'll do things that other people don't really want to know about. He kind of gets the job done.
Okay. And so in what aspect does Petey currently serve the Church of Atavius?
I don't know. I was hoping he could be like, kind of like this guy could get stuff done. His methods may be a little bit, dirty, but he's not like a murder hobo or anything. But you know what I mean? He's like, he'll go in and steal something because we need that thing. He's that type of guy.
So the Church of Atavius is a church of absolute law, as mentioned in our sub-chat. So I just want to make sure you understand, like, Sully
Right.
kind of activities and like the guy who gets things done, the gritty, rogue type, isn't someone who's going to be considered an arrow of Atavius. So are you reformed from that and you've entered into the church to basically kind of redeem yourself from like a troubled past, like you were kind of heading towards, or are you lying to the church?
I think I'm reformed, but I may still sometimes stray into doing things that I'm not supposed to.
And are reprimanded heinously. Got it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Just don't get caught doing
So
it.
you're heavily scarred.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Chad, tell us about Dorian.
Dorian is middle-aged, probably early 40s. He's had a long life and he's worn many hats. Started off as a soldier, after that became a mercenary, and after that became a bounty hunter, until eventually he fell in with the Church of Atavius just because of his long history of taking orders and essentially carrying them out to the letter. For most of his life, he's been some form of lawmaker. So now that he's with the church, he functions as somewhere between, like a combination between an investigator and an enforcer. Basically, if there's chaos to be quelled, he goes and he, restores order. And through the process of restoring order, he maintains peace.
So very much the Qui-Gon Jinn of the group. Okay. Understandable. Steve?
All right, so Albert Vulcan, he is an Osiran local, an older man in his early 50s. He spent most of his young adult life hermited away in a tower of monks Atavian monks, but who, rather than focused on healing through the blessings of Atavius, specialize in practical medicine and actually using the body's own spiritual energy to essentially mend wounds and remove diseases. They're kind of looked on with a little bit of a side eye because a lot of their methods need to use practical experiments. So a lot of the sick, very sick or diseased, go to that tower to essentially be cured, or, and the end of it, sometimes if they're too far gone, be essentially experimented on in order to heal those in the future. The physicians of this tower are very known as they wear pointed masks, very reminiscent of like a plague doctor. Albert wears a white one, which has also given him the nickname the White Crow, as he is a healer, but he always seems to go where death and disease are, much like a crow. He wears a black robe of his order, but it's also a tabard down the center, which has the white and reds of the Atavian Church, as well as an Atavian cross. He also has a brooch, which has another gilded Atavian cross, but the cross is actually entwined by dual serpents that look at each other at the top, which is the sigil of the Way of Mercy order. In terms of the church, he would essentially serve as a healer and counsel, and is also a liaison for the tower itself, the Way of Mercy monks. If there's any question, the church has questions about what they're up to or needs information sent back and forth, they would come to him.
And a quick note regarding the Way of Mercy monks, specifically in the Assyrian capital. They operate out of a tower, as mentioned. The tower is known as Darklance Tower. Darklance Tower is one of the only places in the capital city known to have people still afflicted with the Red Death in the capital city. The reason why the masks are worn, not only so that you're protecting yourself from the Red Death and its symptoms, but it's presumed that most of the monks who treat and study the Red Death are infected, and it's also as an assistant to help you not spread the plague as well, if you have it. That good?
Yeah, it would definitely be hard to tell if he has it. I was going to say, yeah, he doesn't always wear the mask. Like during eating and stuff, he would take it off. And though he is aged, he does have like crow's feet and salt and pepper hair, but doesn't really have many wrinkles or the usual signs of age. Probably something to do with his being able to manipulate his own spiritual energy.
Yeah, and you'll note that there are two different kind of aspects of the Red Death, since you are a practitioner and a studier of it. The Red Death is either going to affect people in a very similar way to you saw in the Sunday game with bubbles and kind of just straight killing someone immediately, or if they break through that period and survive the initial horrors of that, they enter a state where it's very similar to leprosy, where the body parts start to kind of like shrivel about and like wounds aren't felt. But the thing that is the worst part about that is if they breach past the bubble stage of the Red Death, they are effectively immortal. They continue to live as their body disintegrates. So people will basically be little more than just husks of themselves, but they can't die because they've bypassed that first part of the Red Death. Food for thought. So, last but not least, Joe, tell us about Wodachai.
Wodachai is a tiefling with kind of a rare colored skin. He has gray skin, very prominent tiefling features, long that are kind of like, they don't go straight up, they're bent like backwards over the back of his skull. There's at the base of his horns, there's a pretty obvious gleam of silverish color that blends into the gray skin. He has very large, overly sized teeth. They still are maintained by his. You can just tell it's kind of like an underbite and an overbite at the same time. Like, shit just sticks out. He's always wearing a robe. He was raised in the church. He's never actually really been out of the church too far, and you guys have probably seen him there. He kind of would serve as an acolyte and lead in rituals and stuff, and people would oftentimes refer to him as an example of even fiends can be saved by the god of law. Yeah. So if you've spent a lot of time around the church, you've probably seen him there. Real quiet, keeps to himself, but he's always.
He definitely is probably seen a bit by Palos, who is a scribe. I'm sure that Wodekai spends a bit of time studying himself. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. So you probably have seen, if not are familiar with each other in that regard. That said, you've entered into the city of Belum on with intent. The goal is to arrive at the Capitol building of the city in post haste, where they have apartments set up for you and dinner planned, where you'll be meeting with the Council of Merchant Lords in the evening time. Hopefully, in that meeting time, you'll be able to sort out any differences or any matters on behalf of the church, specifically on the behalf of the High Priestess herself, who is the one who organized this specific mission. You feel like you've been elected in your position for a purpose. You don't know what that purpose is, but she did hand select you specifically.
So we don't know too much about our peers, except for any sort of information they decide to volunteer.
You've been walking with them for about 6 days. So if you would have volunteered any information and told about yourself, that was presumed said in your descriptor. That's probably candor conversation that you've had. Joe obviously kept it pretty close to the chest, whereas Steve let the cards down onto the table. Palos, half and half. Kevin kind of stumbled into saying he did a lot of bad stuff, but we obviously know he didn't talk about that on the road. But we have an idea of everybody's kind of just general concept. Unless there's
Dorian is all business. Pretty much everything that comes out of his mouth is just like a practical question. When do we leave? How long will it take? Do we have everything we need? Blah, blah.
Gotcha. As you approach the Capitol building, you can see that there are Atavian knights present outside, standing with white cloaks billowing in the wind. You would know that Atavian knights, servants of the church, typically take on the colors of the city when they are operating inside of a city or town. The white cloaks, apparently, white flags are the sigil of, or the flag of Belum. But they welcome you in with very little issue and move you into the sitting room of the castle proper. An attendant comes in and individually directs each of you to your own rooms and explains that you're welcome to come back to the sitting room while you wait. Dinner should be ready in an hour, and the other guests and the lords themselves have been informed that the sitting room will act as a staging room for the dinner proper. That said, if there's anything that you want to do before you return back to the sitting room, if you want to spend that hour doing something, feel free to tell me what you're doing.
Dorian just, drops off any sort of excess kit he has, like his traveling bags and basically anything he doesn't really need to keep on his person. He'll keep his armor and his weapon, and then make his way down to the sitting room, and he'll, before he takes a seat at the table, he'll grab
the sitting room has no table. It's just a bunch of couches and cushions. It's the staging area for the dining room proper.
Oh, gotcha. Well, before he takes a seat, he's gonna grab a drink.
Okay. Yep, there's an open bar, and they're serving quite a myriad of different beverages. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to do?
So at the dinner, who's expected at this dinner?
The lords and some guests besides yourself.
Yeah, Kyoto, is it possible to send a private note to one of the...
You can.
He would want to send one to Deccan Manigalt to come and talk to us.
Okay.
Privately.
The note is sent. All right.
So he's another. So just out of character, he's another arrow. He's probably going to be someone that we want to talk to as soon as possible.
Correct. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to do before they move to the sitting room?
Sure. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Albert would essentially just hang up his hat, take the mask off, and just wash the road off himself. Essentially change out, take off his black robe and put on just like dinner clothes, but keep the Tavian tabard on. Definitely he would shave. He's very clean shaven, so he just takes a razor, cleans, essentially makes himself presentable for dinner. And then he kind of hangs the mask off the side, knowing that because of who he is and like the order he's a part of, there may be some who are more comfortable with him keeping it on. Because, like you said, if they think he might have the Red Death, then
Well, you would know the main thing is that the inside of the cone of the mask, it's filled with herbs and specific, like kind of very pungent smelling things. The belief in like the kind of science behind it is that the coarse, disgusting air that's excreted out of a person is really what is the problem. And you'd know that if you kind of keep some of those with you and chew on such roots, you'd be fine without it.
yeah, essentially kicking out because he doesn't want to be overly intimidating to the guests. So yeah, just kind of chews on it like it's some wacky tobacco or something.
Yeah.
John, would Kyotaro know that Alfred is immune from disease because he's a monk of high level?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
You wouldn't know much about the Red Death either. But on the opposite side, Steve, you would know that the Red Death doesn't care about immunities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it strickens paladins as well.
Cool.
My guy's going to go back to his room, kind of set his stuff down again. Definitely will have a couple daggers on his person, but clean up as well as possible, including casting Prestidigitation just to make him look as presentable as possible.
Sweep the road right off. Kevin,
Yep.
you were going to say something before Steve?
Oh, yeah. Petey would probably, well, he would definitely like clean up, and if he had time, take a bath. But he would take out like some fine clothes from his pack, that he would wear during, like diplomatic events, since this is like a dinner, and he would then, get all dressed up nice and probably conceal a couple daggers because that's what he does.
Okay.
That's what he would do.
So yeah, you have
Down to the sitting room.
You have an hour before the dinner proper, so if you want to spend specific time to clean up especially nice, that's perfectly fine. White Crow and Dorian, the two of you had kind of the shortest kind of slough off and kind of head in. So you arrive at the sitting room pretty close to about the same time as one another. And as you're entering into that room, one second. Another individual enters the room as well. Not someone you're familiar with. Definitely a stranger to you all. He happens to be a tiefling as well. He is not dressed as shown in the picture, but he is red-skinned. His horns kind of curve inwards a bit. And he does have wrappings around his hands. His clothing does seem to be of a lesser standard than what you would expect at this fine a dinner.
So he doesn't have any sort of indication that he's associated with the church?
Nothing.
Okay, Dorian immediately looks at him and he says, "You, who are you? What are you doing here?"
He looks to you. I'm a guest. I've been invited here. You're not the host. You have no right to question me. You should know that. Order bringer, he says.
Dorian simply smiles and says, "Very well. Welcome."
He moves away from you in the sitting room and kind of sits off on his own. He produces a pipe from the worn coat he's wearing and begins to ignite it with non-magical means and smoke on the pipe in his corner. I believe... Did we skip Joe?
I'm chilling. Big chilling.
Okay, so you would have already been there as well. So you'd see this individual and recognize him as a Earthos, as I mentioned in our side chat. And as you're all kind of sitting there, quietly waiting, I believe the next two that would arrive. Andy, you're waiting in your room in hopes of return message, correct?
No, I don't think so. Would it be appropriate to have asked him to meet us in the sitting room before dinner?
It's not exactly what you said, but yeah, that's fine. You can wreck on that.
Okay.
I'll be doing sleight of hand card tricks at the table as well, just kind of showing
Again.
off to the guest. And
No,
Nice.
No table in the sitting room. It is literally just a bunch
okay, well,
of
just wherever.
sofas and cushions. Not particularly anywhere to set drinks, which is kind of annoying. And you sit. The only other people in the room besides you, as Kyotaro enters in as well, are the individuals I've mentioned. And it looks like the only person that would be entertainable is kind of off on his own, smoking his pipe. Kind of looks like Satan.
I'll
So,
join it.
Urthos, does he have any sort of, I guess, like, any sort of sigils or, like,
Nope.
anything about his outfit that would indicate what his, like, location is or what his association is, if he's associated with any particular faction?
Nope.
Can I recognize the tobacco he's smoking? Like, is it Osirian, or is it imported?
Do you meander over to kind of see if you can't catch a whiff?
Yeah, like I'll sit in a chair near him and kind of like take in the air.
Sure. You would recognize it as a Ludosian tobacco. Ludos being the kingdom of the Ruby Throne to the west. During the Civil War, it was Ludos that caused most of the strife in its quick and sudden defeat of Liberus, and the Civil War lasted as long as it did because Munio was inusurpable. It was undestroyable.
Is it a rare leaf or pretty run of the mill?
Common.
Make some small talk. It's like Ludian leaf, very a fine leaf, also an excellent coagulant. What we were not told there'd be additional guests at this dinner. I am Albert Vulcan. Who might you be?
I probably won't stay for long. I'm just here to speak to one of the guests, to be honest.
Indeed. Well, I don't much care for these things either, but we all have our duties, I suppose.
I suppose. He kind of looks up at you with kind of narrowing eyes. Almost like it's breaking the tension. A person walks in from a side door. This individual wears chainmail, the tabard of an order bringer. He has a hammer set on his belt. He looks very much, to all of your understanding, to be the description of one Deccan Manigault. And he kind of heads into the room looking around, looks over towards the elf, gives him a nod, then looks over to the red-skinned tiefling, kind of, and then walks over to sit at an appropriate sofa.
Yeah, so Kyotaro would motion the other arrows to come sit nearby.
Sure.
And would thank you for coming to meet us before the dinner.
A mass mob of
Lord.
people, or does anybody stay back and keep to themselves?
Dorian would move to sit closer. He has his mug of beer in one hand, and he, as he stands up, he picks up his hammer. And his hammer actually is crafted in the shape of like a clenched fist holding a gavel, so that like the head of the hammer is the actual gavel, and the part immediately below it is the fist.
Cool. So Kyotaro would say to Deccan, we know that you're a good friend of Lord Eric, and we wanted to know if you knew anything about his disappearance.
Nope, not particularly. Unfortunately, I believe that was hope that the the good Lord had got himself caught up in. He was wishing to go through the Serpent's Way, through the Anguis Wood, but I believe, from what I understand of my last message, he was caught up in the town of Mudis, seeking a guide. Unfortunately for him, the report I received next was only of his disappearance, not of his own hand, and unfortunately, he's been missing for the better part of a month.
The Serpent's Road, yes, could be a dangerous place for those unfamiliar, I've heard.
To be sure. Probably safer than the pass, but either way you would need a guide, and unfortunately, since trade season hasn't started up, I'm sure it was hard for him to find one willing. But, alas, his son might be of worth to us. He can speak on his behalf. It is appropriate for him to do so, but unfortunately he's a bit of a recluse. He traveled north to the monastery by the lake, the Gavel and Nail, it's probably going to be a hard-pressed matter for him to be convinced to come and deal with the squabblings of wealth and the well-to-do. I'll say I don't have much of a taste for it myself.
So, folks, feel free to jump in here if you want. All right, we out of character, we know that our goal is either to find the Lord or to have the rest of the Lords vote in favor of the railway, right?
Right, or remove one of them. Legally, of course.
Yeah, that might be hard to do, frankly. The hardest thing, probably.
The awkward...
Go
ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say Dorian's main concern is probably the Lord that was believed to have been abducted.
Yeah, that's the one they were just talking about, Eric Galagos.
Yeah.
As you're kind of sitting there, 3 more individuals walk in. This looks like Gilliam Asher. He has kind of brownish, just messed up hair with bits of gray kind of streaked all throughout. Not in the normal places. I mean, of course, some on the sides here and there, but also parts throughout. Wears gaudy looking clothing and just has a look that basically says merchant to you. He is definitely currently holding, you can see him kind of holding his moment, ready to interject himself in the conversation of the other two. The other two happen to be a very tall, about 7'9" tall, black-skinned dragonborn in holy Atavian adornments. He is carrying with him what appears to be an Atavian glaive, which is a longsword's blade kind of attached to the end of a staff. It's also known as an Atavian sword staff. And you would recognize him as Yasol Blackwelder. He and the other party of this 3, a halfling woman with kind of just poofed out hair, purple clothing, long gloves, and a massive ruby set on her chest. She seems to be the one driving the conversation. Zortia Liptop, her name. And she sounds like she is at work trying to convince Yasol into the matter of the rail. So you see, it would just be easier if we just... If it benefits us all. It benefits us all.
You say this, my lady, but I do not believe that if more people are here to reap the bounties of Belum, that we will be able to see all the bounties that we have before it's too late and they are gone.
And they all kind of look to you all, like kind of ending their conversation abruptly. And then you see Zortia kind of look over to Deccan. Ah, Deccan, come. Perhaps all 3 of us together at once can maybe change his mind.
That will not be necessary. We will discuss it more over dinner. I am famished.
I go to Zortia and say, it seems that you all have things well in order, even though we are missing one of your group.
What say you? She says, confused, kind of looking at you.
Well, okay, I guess they know that someone is supposed to have been abducted, right?
Oh, are you referring to Eric Gallagher? Yeah, no, that's fine. We still have matters pressing have to be handled in short order. We can't stop everything just because of one person. The fate of hundreds, thousands of people, interested parties, and interested coin is very important to this matter. We have to deal with it very quickly. You hear from the side, Gilliam go, here, here, here.
Perhaps, but if these individuals wish to delay or outright prevent the construction of the rail, I do not believe that such a decision should be made without the voice of all parties involved.
Perhaps you should listen to this cleric. You hear a voice from the door come. A woman clad in tight leather with spikes running along the arms' lengths, black feathers just cascading off of her shoulders, and a massive black cape. Her hair kind of an aquamarine color with purple highlights to her eyes and kind of blood red lipstick with kind of just a drip of wine kind of rolling from the sides of her lips. She holds in her hands a massive goblet of wine. She looks to you all. The one that interjected. Zortia kind of looks over to her and says, Alicia, you managed to waste all of our time. Again, I've been here the longest. You should heed my words. You think that I care about your duration? Just because you have less time for it, you wish to rush this matter? Some of us would like to understand the true merits of the choices you are enforcing upon us. Yasol kind of looks to Alicia and kind of gives a nod. So does Gilliam.
Albert will interject at Alicia and be like, do not dismiss the wisdom of age, child. She has much to teach, and as do I.
I do not dismiss her wisdom. I dismiss her haste. Surely you understand that if you are dealing with something deadly and potentially irreversible, you would take measure and care. Or is that not how they do it at Darklands Tower?
Yes, time is always of the essence, but administer the wrong cure and
you notice that
the results are deadly.
As she says that, Zortia kind of moves away from the White Crow. Kind of like just slowly kind of moves away from him.
So Dorian's expression pretty much the entire time you guys have been traveling with him has been just like flat and almost emotionless. But as Alicia walks into the room, he raises an eyebrow like he's kind of confused and not quite sure what to make of her.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. That's it. Like, he's mostly just observing everybody and the interactions and trying to take a read of the room.
Makes sense. The last person to enter into the place is kind of a younger woman, probably the youngest of the council lords that you've seen. She's wearing yellow robes, which have draconic lettering kind of all up and down the main portion, the heavier portion of the robe. She has a book in her hands and is kind of very focused on kind of entering into the room as if she feels like she would have been late. And this is about the same time that Petey, after bathing, cleaning up, getting nice and just as nice looking as he can, the two kind of enter at about the same time but from separate passageways. No one seems to give her much regard.
So, what did I miss?
No, I'm sorry, you said they do or do not give her much regard.
They do not give her much regard. She's basically ignored.
Huh.
So our characters know everything that we know that you posted, right? Like about these individuals. We don't really know her opinion on the rail then.
I believe Christinger is a no, right? Or was she a yes?
Yeah, she's a no. That's the heretic, I would say.
It doesn't
Yeah.
say necessarily what she thinks about the
Yeah.
rail.
Yeah, he said it in a different spot, I thought.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought he said there's 3 yeses and 3 nos or something, and she was one of the nos.
And a real quick note: she doesn't worship the great church of Atavius. She worships a different god.
Yeah.
That does not make her a heretic.
No.
So a heretic is different in this world than it is in real life. If you don't believe in the god Atavius, that's fine, so long as you observe the laws. If you worship a
Depends who
goodly
you
god,
ask.
yeah, it depends on who you ask. If you worship a goodly god, then you are typically regarded as fine. The weirdness about the dragon god is it is all of the dragon kind, and people find their facet to it. So similar to your own understanding of how dragonkind works, if she's a more metallic-minded worshiper, she's probably more lawful or goodly oriented. If she's on the opposite side of the spectrum, she's what's known as a dragon cultist.
So based on her like bronzish color, like robes and stuff, could we probably assume she's more metallic focused? And the fact that she's in this room.
Yeah, potentially.
All right, if anyone's ignoring her, but we don't really know her opinion on the rail, then I think it might be beneficial to approach her, because if we can get her vote, then I think that tips the scales for us.
Yep.
It's a good idea. I want to hang out with Earth.
Yeah, considering she's a relative unknown. Basically, she enters the room and she's mostly ignored by everybody else. Dorian goes ahead and like gives her a very formal, friendly greeting.
And you'll see
Like
that
sort of tries to be welcoming and welcome her to the meeting. But other than that, he's going to be keeping an eye on her because she's a big unknown.
Well, you'll see that Albert kind of moves to go and speak to her directly. You'll note that it looks like Mordecai heads over to speak with Erthos, the tiefling. Petey, what were you doing? You kind of entered in at the same time as Ashane Kirsinger. What would you like to do?
I would have like walked up to Lady Vester,
Okay.
and I would have said, Lady Vester, your outfit is magnificent.
She looks down with a smile. As you're being smiled at, and as you're moving to sit with Erthos, you watch Erthos kind of stand up and move over to Lady Vester, kind of brushing you aside, Mordecai, and moving to her very quickly. She looks to him, and you're within earshot to hear this, Petey. She says, "So, what of him?" "He's there." "Good. We'll cut this short then." And he turns and goes back over to his seat.
Okay, I would like take my leave, like bow and take my leave of Lady Vester, and kind
Oh,
of go over to
of
the
course.
other guys. And then I'd go over to, it'd be a hard choice. I guess I'd go like kind of gather around, guys.
Well, you're
And,
trying to get to somebody else. Chody, what is Palos doing?
I would be actually hanging out with a group of Zortia, is it Usol, and the other merchant.
Zortia, Yasol, and Gilliam. That's right. Okay, I'll go ahead and get you included in a conversation with them first. Let's start with Erthos. Erthos moves back to the chairs just as you're kind of like, you do like the head take where you see him walk away from you and then just kind of come back. And he looks over at you, and in the tongue that you two can speak natively, in the infernal tongue, he says, "I've seen you around the church." And he sits, pulling his pipe back out.
Yeah, it's been quite some time, Master Kasaka. How are you?
I'm fine. Yourself? How has your tutelage with the Octavian monastery been?
It's been great. I learn more and more every day.
Well, if you're wise to it, you'll do what I did. You'll take the lessons that you can learn from them. Once you feel like you've moved away from their teachings, you'll rise to something more purposeful.
How big is the room, John?
It's about 50 by 50. Bunch of cushions all about. There are four entrances, two pocket doors on one wall, and then on the walls that would basically go skew to that, there's the entrance that leads to the apartments that you came from, and an entrance that leads to, you presume, like the lordly chambers. Your presumption is that the pocket doors lead to the dining room proper.
Okay.
Um, after observing the room for a moment, Dorian would go get another beer and then move closer to Esau Blackwelder.
Okay, well, yeah, he's already been in. Well, I'll enter you into that conversation because it's still yet to be started. Okay, let's go ahead and cut to Albert. You move over to speak to Ashanai.
Yes, you just kind of. Does she have a drink in hand, or
She has sat down, kind of away from everybody, and has opened up her tome and is reading it.
All right, I'll kind of sit next to her. So, good evening, my lady.
You see her kind
may I
of
inquire
look.
as to what you're perusing?
She kind of looks down at the bottom corner of her page and then slams the book closed. And you can see the cover apparently is written in Draconic, but it seems that it is a retelling of a old Parnin story, the death of Ashmedea, the defeat of her by the Saint Averio.
Yes, a studious mind is a keen mind indeed. I noticed your colleagues did not acknowledge your entrance.
Just as most regard studious engagements, they find me to be a labor, much as I do these formal events.
Well, that makes two of us, but I must admit, we have not been privy to your opinion on this rail construction, and it is the reason that we gather here.
I don't want it to happen.
And why, may I ask, would a merchant lord not wish for a method of more trade to come to their town?
Because the wealth that we have accrued has come through the old methods of trade. These new methods of trade grant the powers to those who built the rails, primarily the church you serve. And I don't know what hole they pulled you out of from the catacombs deep underneath their massive citadel-like cathedrals, or what tower they plucked you out of, filled with what not, and however many horrors the conglomerate left behind. But I tell you this, the old ways are the best ways. Simplest is the easiest. And if you muddle it up with a rail through Belum, I believe the city will slowly wither away and die. It is a ripe fruit. By building that rail, you pluck it from the vine.
Very well, child, but take it from your elder. Times change, and you must change with them. The old ways will not last forever.
You sound like Sortia.
And she is wise, even wiser than she appears.
They lasted long enough for her to gain as much wealth as she has. I see no reason why we should change things now, where it would benefit her and not me.
The world is changing, child. You must see that. You can either join progress or be crushed beneath it.
So, listen to me, old man. Watch them. And she gestures over to the grouping of three. Your soul is strong-minded, strong of will, but I'm sure in time he will crack, and he will join the will of the others. Gilliam is weak-minded, and he goes with what is popular. And up until Lord Galagos disappeared, probably confiscated by one of his rivals, I presume he was feeling so empowered by choosing the side that was obviously going to win. If you watch him, you'll see him stumble over his own thoughts because he has no idea how to lead, no idea what he's doing here in this place. Zortia is self-serving, always has been, always will be. And the reason why she wants to rush this is because her own children have much to benefit from the creation of the rail. Do you happen to know who runs the rail company out of Osiria that Saludos? The Liptop family.
Albert smiles. Your counsel will be noted, and I do appreciate your openness on this subject.
I appreciate your candor as well. I understand it is your purpose to help us decide the matters for the church. I assure you, if my vote isn't taken into regard and I sense any sort of treachery in this matter, I will seek counsel with the High Priestess herself, and I will demand retribution for the slight. I may be young, I may be disregarded, but believe you me, I have enough power to bring this entire palace down, if I so wished it.
When she talks about the High Priest, is she referring to the Atavian High Priest or the Solan High Priest?
There is no Solan High Priest.
Okay. Indeed. The even-handed judge watches us all. If treachery is afoot, his judgment will indeed be swift.
Good.
Very well. And yeah, Albert kind of gets up and leaves.
You were watching the scenario as they were kind of coming together, and Petey walks over to the three who are exchanging conversation. It seems like Zortia is throwing up more platitudes and like why we should do this to Blackwelder, who's just kind of quietly sipping on his drink. Gilliam is kind of nodding his head, kind of like, yeah, see, good point, to Yisol, who just doesn't seem to be concerned too much with it and just is kind of letting it brush off of his shoulders. When you walk over to the group, he kind of looks down at you. An arrow? What brings you here?
I need to speak to you guys in private.
Well?
I would look at those guys. You know, like Albert and... Who else would be over at that with you?
Oh, wait, no,
Is
sorry.
anybody else over there?
Chody, wrong halfling. Apologies. Throw you aside. I apologize.
Bro.
Chody, you're the one that walks over to these three. Wrong halfling. I apologize.
Oh, good.
So that's my
DM eats the halfling.
that's my bad.
Yeah.
I go up to again, still focusing on
Tortilla.
Zotia. Yeah. Basically say, you said that this is definitely something that is holding up your progress of the whole community, and definitely a hindrance on the prosperity of the city, I would guess.
Your soul seems annoyed that, again, I know it was a weird exchange, but he was the one who addressed you. You moved to Zortia and speak to her, and your soul seems kind of just annoyed by that. Zortia kind of looks over to you. Yeah, can you help us convince your soul? It's very important for the church and for the city for us to build the rail, just like he said.
I'm sorry. I thought they were both standing together.
They are.
But I thought I was actually there. But I would look over at Yusol and say, "What are your feelings on this disappearance
Disappearance?
of the Lord?"
Do you mean of Eric?
Yeah.
Eric has always been foolhardy. He travels north quite a bit between here and Ursulon. It is a treacherous area. He should have stayed within the city, to be fair. He'll probably show up. Some unfortunate adventurer will probably be indebted to him, even though they are the ones who rescued him.
I mean, you both seem to be very, very powerful. Why wouldn't you send for his son to even help if he isn't here to give his opinion to make sure that this gets solved as quick as possible?
Messengers have been sent to the Hammer, or the Gavel and Nail, and they say that his son has gone missing as well. They say he has gone into a self-selected hermitage at an old monastery church up on the lake, north of the Gavel and Nail, an old destroyed building. You see him say that, and you see Zortia kind of like she didn't know. And go ahead and make an insight check. First roll of the night.
22.
You notice that Yasol looks over to one of the other guests. Do you follow his eyes, or do you kind of...
Oh, I would want to hold it for a minute. I would actually take out my cards and start. I'd show them each the Queen of Hearts, the Queen of Diamonds, and then the King of Clubs. And I would start shuffling, and I would basically saying that yes, at times a man of power can get lost. And while they're looking at the cards, I would glance over to see where his eyes went.
Yeah, you notice that he looked over at Alicia, who was actually making her way to the double doors and opening them and entering into the dining chamber.
Okay, and then to finish up, it's like, but at times when someone does go missing, I'd flip over each of the queens and then flip over the king where it was actually a joker, and say it can have good or bad consequences.
Zortia seems very pleased, and then she says, "Ah, yeah, my brother Gemwich was actually very capable of such tricks. Very amazing." And Gilliam goes, "Huh, interesting. Do you do parties?" Yasol seems to be kind of disinterested. And Chad, you'd arrive on the scene with the this group at about that time.
Let me see. Hold on a second. I wrote something down.
Okay.
Real quick, you said that he looked at the Ashana?
Alicia.
So, as Dorian approaches Blackwelder, he says, "Master Blackwelder, I've heard tales of your exploits. If even half of them are true, the honor of making your acquaintance is all mine."
They're all true. He kind of shrugs. Why have they sent arrows this way? Is it your goal to sway us into building the rail? Is it the will of the church?
While I will try to keep my personal opinions on the matter out of my... I will try to keep my personal opinions on the matter from influencing my actions. I do believe that order is synonymous with harmony, and harmony is synonymous with cooperation. I believe building the rail will bring the abilities and resources of a larger area to your disposal, which will ultimately lead to greater success.
And more merchants to try and usurp positions on this council. Though you say it, I understand that if that it is the will of the High Priestess directly, I would want that kind of order sent from her directly. Is that something she told you to say to me?
No. That was merely my own opinion.
Very good.
I feel you are due the respect of my honesty.
He looks to Zortia and he says, "If we cannot reach an agreement in this dinner, then I will go to the capital myself and ask the opinion of the High Priestess. And if she says to go with my heart, no such rail will exist in Belum as long as I draw breath, and no other votes are swayed. If she says that she wishes for the rail to be built, and it is the will of the church, I will allow it, and I will vote along with you." Zortia nods quietly, doesn't seem to try and appear too happy with it. But yeah, Gilliam kind of is not as subtle or skilled, and is nodding his head, kind of scratching his beard. Yes, great, perfect, wonderful news. Yeah. As you're kind of sitting with Erthos and paying attention to him, Wodakai, you notice he kind of looks over to Alicia as she leaves into the dining room, stands up, and says, "I apologize. In your native tongue, I must be leaving." And he leaves out of the apartment's entrances, not the dining room chamber.
I want to follow, but not too obvious.
Okay.
Just kind of, not all the way. Just kind of see the direction he's heading off.
Do you want to do so without acknowledging or noting it to anybody else?
Yeah.
Make a stealth check.
Do.
If anybody has a passive perception of 18 or higher, you would note that Wodakai is leaving. I don't think anybody does, though. So.
I do.
Oh. Okay. Well, you notice that Wodakai is leaving. Looks like he's following the redskin tiefling.
How far away was I from them when they were talking?
Probably about 40 feet. You're probably on the other side of the chamber.
Oh, never mind. I'm good then.
Okay. All right. You try to get everybody together. You were kind of searching for everybody at the same time, Kevin, so I'm going to go ahead and let you make an active perception check to see if you can see if Wodakai's leaving.
John, while he's doing that, I just have an out-of-character question.
Shoot.
I mean, as the Arrows, we wouldn't necessarily be advocating as a group in favor of the rail, would we?
That's what you were sent here to do.
Yeah, that's what we were sent here to do. So I rolled a 5, which is a critical fail because I think I was looking at Lady Vesper again. I was like, entranced with her outfit, of course.
The silver tiefling slips by unnoticed.
I'm sorry. So when Blackwelder asked me if the High Priestess themselves
she didn't directly
ordered me,
she didn't directly say to sway their opinions in any way. She said to make sure that they come to the, the correct decision, and to do what you could to get to the rail. So you didn't lie. She did not tell you specifically that it was her will that be the case. So you didn't lie. You were more truthful than you probably knew you were being. If you had wanted to say that, you wouldn't have asked the question, is that what she told me? You would have just said, yeah, that's what she said, baby. That's it. That's it right there. Let's go. It's done. Let's build the rail. But you didn't say that because you're a truthful guy.
Well, I mean, ultimately, order is what he's after. So he believes that,
Yeah, that's fair.
People with multiple interests can cooperate and reach a mutual understanding. And that is basically his main motivation.
Mm-hmm. The hour-long process of setup has concluded, and the dining room doors open, and in walks a studious-looking kind of butler fellow. He walks over to kind of the center of the room, and he says, "The dining event is cancelled. It would seem that a pair of the lords have made it known that they do not wish to have this meeting this evening. It seems that there is a storm coming in from the lake, and it should be a very turgid night, and they wish to reside in comforts rather than out here. I apologize, the food has been made ready. If you wish to take it with you to your own apartments, we will hopefully reconvene in the morning for a breakfast or perhaps brunch meeting."
Oh, shit. That's what Petey says.
Looking around, you would note that there are two lords missing, besides Eric Alagos. It looks like at some point during a conversation, Deacon disappeared, and you obviously watched Alicia exit as well.
Dorian would want to take some kind of food that he could kind of eat on the go. And before the storm comes in, he wants to meet with somebody, whoever is in charge of whatever law-keeping force exists in this town.
They would tell you that Deacon is actually the master of the watch.
Before we break into different directions, maybe we should do as PD wanted and gather up together and figure out a game plan as a group.
Yeah, give Petey a solid.
Oh, Kevin. So, John, out of character, how far away is the place where Eric's son is?
A couple hours.
So that's definitely a lot closer than where we think Eric himself.
because you're on horseback.
So I think that's where we should go. I mean, we could, if we can gather him up, that's the end game right there. One of
Are we having our PD meeting right now? Like we're all talking to each other?
Yeah.
I would like to.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Dorian's fine with that, having a quick powwow. But he is of the opinion that investigating Lord Galagos's disappearance is more important than going after his son. Seems like Lord Galagos himself is in more mortal peril than Roderick.
Very true,
I've
but
already
that's not
got it.
exactly our charge, is it?
You said the storm's coming from the east, right?
Yeah, so if you look at the map proper, you can see that Belum is this massive city here in the bottom. On your way there, you would have passed by the legions of the south of Munia. To the north of you, there is the monastery of Gavel and Nail. And based on the description, the location of the monastery where the boy has gone to hermit is somewhere there.
So Kyoto
You're
would
on
respond to
horseback, so each square is effectively, or each hex is probably only like an hour and a half. So it's a couple hours.
would respond to Dorian and say, "We have a specific mission in mind that we've been charged with. We could accomplish the other after."
I must agree with. Sorry, Andy. What was your character's name again?
Kyotaro.
I must agree with Kiltoro. I do not wish to bicker with these merchant lords longer than necessary. If we can bring Lord Galagos' son into the fold, we can be on our way, whether that's to find the Lord himself or return to the capital. But I believe his son is the best course of action as well.
I agree.
So, how far away is the supposed location of Roderick and the supposed
Flowers.
area? So, like, the two locations are separate
No,
by a
the
couple.
only location I've discussed is where Roderick is, the monastery. It's a couple
Okay,
hours.
but what about the location where Lord Galagos went missing?
Lord Galagos is
it's-
missing in Mudus. That's days away. Yeah, Eric is out of character note for you, Chad. It's something that they're dealing with in the Sunday game. Unbeknownst to your party, he's been rescued. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I was waiting for.
Okay.
Also, he could be kind of a jerk.
I was waiting for an Andy.
Okay, well now it makes sense why Andy's like, no, we don't need to worry about
Well, I was
that.
waiting for Andy Cross to go, "Don't worry, Eric will be here in a couple of days. Just chill out." And I was gonna go.
Yeah.
That was a thought, but it
No.
didn't. He was more proactive, so it's good. It's okay. Yeah, Eric is all the way up far to the north.
Yeah, it's like you were juggling and you lost the ball and you just kept going.
Yeah. But anyways, so two of you have mentioned that it's of interest for you to find Roderick. The three, maybe? Did the halfling played by Kevin?
PD agreed.
Okay.
Yep, I agreed, man.
Anybody else? You'll very, very quickly identify the fact that Wodakai's not with you. One of you knows where he might have gone off to.
Yeah. I would let them know that when I was speaking to them, are we in our group now? Like,
Yeah.
just us going around? All right, cool. I would know that once when they said that something might have happened to the boy, the Dragonborn looked over to Alicia as if he felt something was amiss with her.
Okay. So you all have kind of come to the conclusion that you're going to quest out. Okay. Meanwhile, in the halls, it seems like taking kind of a darker path through the castle. Not like a secret pass, but like definitely a less traversed region of the castle. You follow this Earthos. You very quickly realize that in the dark, the little bit of light that's shining, you are very perceivable. But you do pass by a cloakroom and realize you could probably just grab a cloak.
I cast invisibility on myself,
Even
and
better.
I will use meta magic to eliminate verbal and semantic
Okay.
So I'm quiet about it.
So you blend into the atmosphere and continue following behind him. You realize that as you come outside, there's kind of like a low, dull, kind of thunderous growl coming from the sky above. And you see that Erthos is moving towards the stables. You also notice that there's a retinue of individuals accompanying a woman who you just recently saw, Lady Vester, as they approach the stables. She says something quickly to him. Go ahead and make a perception check to see if you can pick up what she says to him.
Like, no, I got a 3.
Not sure what they said. And then you watch as Erthos gets on his horse and rides out. The Lady Vester turns back and heads back to the keep proper. And it looks like she is accompanied by her retinue of soldiers. They look like hired swords, really.
All right.
Your horses are kept on the near the entrance of the castle, which is probably about a 20-minute jog around the castle from where you're currently located. It seems this stable is kind of like a messenger's stables on the backside of the castle.
Which way does Erthos head?
North, out of the city,
Okay.
I presume.
Yeah, I'm not gonna chase him down on my own. I'll just go to the dinner party.
Okay. As you head back into the castle and kind of maneuver your way through, you make it to the group as they're finishing their conversation. It looks like they're the last remnants of the people still in the sitting room. Everyone else is kind of peeled away, with the exception of Lady Christinger, who is still kind of just poring over her tomb. You're pretty sure, Albert, that she's been listening the whole time to your conversations, but she doesn't seem to be terribly interested. She's focused on the book.
I don't really think we have anything to worry about, like her getting in our way about finding Eric's son, so I think we'll be okay.
But yeah, Wodakai appears. Do you just drop the invisibility right there? Or?
Yeah. Well, no, like out of the hallway before I
Okay.
walk back in.
Okay. Wodakai reemerges into the sitting room.
Apologies. I had something I needed to look into. Something weird seems to be going on. I don't know quite what it is, but I believe the tiefling is doing something for the lady in red. I forget her name.
Alicia?
Yeah, they met. They met just moments ago, after they both exited this dinner party here. I didn't hear quite what they said or anything specific, but it definitely doesn't seem right. They're trying to do something in the dark.
When they left, did they leave together or did they leave separately and then meet up later?
They left separately and then met up at the servant stables behind.
Okay, well, that seems like they were trying to conceal their collaboration.
It does seem weird, although I don't know to what.
Were there servants sat readying horses for them, or was it just a meeting spot?
Erthos' horse was ready, and he rode out north of the town, and the lady returned back to the keep with a retinue of guards.
North, you say? My friends,
So-
that is the direction of the gavel and nail? The monastery in which Roderick was last seen.
Oh shit.
I think it is our duty to
So,
go there right now.
as opposed to waiting for a later time, as we were planning on.
I figured we'd go at first light if time was not of the essence, but it seems it may be.
I agree, if that's what you think. The weather does look like it's getting awfully bad out there.
If time is of the essence, we should probably ride with the halflings on a horse and lead the ponies.
What do you think?
It's a great idea. Let's double
I
up.
think you need to take those tissues out of your nose.
I dig it.
Hey, my windpipe was crushed when I was young. And it also crushed my voice box. So fuck you.
It's okay, Ray.
You
Calm
tell him,
down.
Petey.
You know, I could perform an emergency tracheotomy if you'd like.
No, I'm not riding with that asshole and his horse. Anybody else?
So you plan to exit the keep and get on horses and ride north towards the monastery. Not the Gavel and Nail, though, right? You're planning on going to the broken up monastery where he's hermiting away, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I think if that's where we think he is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, his last known whereabouts.
Well, if that's the case, you mounted up on your horses, halflings each on a horse with another individual. Kevin, who are you riding with?
I don't know, Andy, I guess.
Okay. And
Sure.
He's an elf. Yeah.
Chody,
Yeah.
who are you riding with?
I'm sorry, dealing with family stuff for a minute. Give me 1 second.
Okay, well, I'm throwing you on the horse with Steve. And then,
I'll ride with Steve. It's cool. Steve, we rolling.
all right,
I'm your little Tonto. It's cool.
you ride.
But they're riding facing each other, though.
Hey, man.
You ride. It does seem that the weather is turning as you kind of make your way up into the highlands here. So even though it would seem that you would be kind of descending towards the water, the lake, it's pretty well known that the coast of the lake on this side of it is a high, chalky cliff. The Gavel and Nail sits high up on those cliffs, as does this monastery, this smaller, broken down monastery. You make your way there. Someone roll a d100 for me real quick. There's a very slim chance of a potential meeting here.
5.
All right. You come upon what appears to be a horse kind of just wandering, meandering about, cantering, but it looks like it's covered with the accoutrement and kind of regal looking gear of an arrow, not too dissimilar from the horses that you all ride. As you come upon it, you notice that on the ground, laying there with its head cut off, is the corpse of Dakin.
No!
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Can we tell,
Okay,
or
Monaco.
can Kyotaro tell the kind of sword that might have, the kind of weapon that might
Yeah, it doesn't look like a sword was used. Looks like his head was pulled right off.
hold off? Oof.
Dorian wrangles the horse.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Dorian wrangles the horse and sort of like gets it out of the way while they inspect the body.
His
He says, "We can't leave him like this."
his hammer is not present.
Does he have any kind of documents on him?
The rest of his garments and gear are upon him.
A cruel fate. I close his eyes if they're open, and then
Oh, yeah. His eyes are
His-
wide
His
open.
head is gone.
His head's there.
It's
Oh,
It's
shit.
just not with the body.
Yeah, he's identifiable. Like you can look into his face and
Okay.
realize it's him.
yeah, I'm just giving him his due rights. I can close his eyes, and then do we carry as arrows? Do we have like a little like a pendant or a sigil or anything? That
Yeah, so you would have a small silver Atavian symbol that you're given when you become an arrow.
all right, like I would like take his and be like I'll bring it back to
Sure.
the capital.
Okay.
Dorian, after wrangling the horse, he'd tie it off to like a shrub or something. And he'd start poking around, doing some investigation. He'd take the papers or whatever that he had on him and check them to see if he had any orders that differed from ours.
None. So arrows, in some cases, are direct servants of the church, and in other cases, it's kind of like an honorific. You are a servant of the church, but you're not often called upon. Eric Galagos is an arrow of the church. You are arrows that are more directly servants of the high priestess herself. That said, you make some quick, very quick basically a very quick last rites tossing, acquisition of identification, and continue on to the broken up church.
Well, I was curious if there was, so other than like horses' footprints and our footprints, are there any footprints that indicate what pulled his head off?
Another horse, and it looks like a pair of bare feet in the mud. Looks like there was rain here at some point earlier.
Was the tiefling wearing shoes?
Yeah.
Are they goblinoid feet? Are they
they're
monstrous?
They're definitely humanoid, just human size feet.
Gotcha.
You get back on your horses and
I
ride out.
want
Go
to
ahead.
make sure that I study how he looks, like face wise, body, the clothes he has. I want to make sure to take that to memory and even write it down if I need to make sure I remember exactly how he looks.
Sure, it genuinely looks like someone ripped his head clean off.
No. I'm talking physical features.
Gotcha.
Like if I'm looking at you and I want to say how you look, I want to put it in my head.
Understood. Okay, you continue riding off. The rain starts to come down. Wind starts to pick up, and you come to. You see off in the distance, kind of like a bright white, kind of glowing tower, bell tower, and you would know that would be the gavel and nail. It definitely isn't the location that you want to go to. It's something you're bypassing, but if you want to deter, you can if you'd like.
Is that where we think Roderick went in his hermitage?
It's where he went initially, but according to Blackwelder, he went from there to broken up, an old monastery north of there.
Yeah, we should keep going.
Okay. You continue on. You see a broken up monastery. It does have a tower, and it does look like several of its walls are broken apart. The rain's coming down quite heavily now. And you can see the entrance to the church. It looks like there are two of them. But you can also see that the back end of it appears to be right on the cliff area of the lake. You approach.
Do we see any horses?
And it does not look like there are any horses present.
Ooh.
Did we see any horses at the gavel and nail?
Oh yeah, plenty of horses outside the gavel and nail. Also, quick note, there is background music or background sound in the background there. If you want to turn it down, just click on your cog, go to master music level, and change it.
Super cool.
If it's too much for you.
Rock and roll.
Okay. So, like I said, it looks like there are three entranceways. The one on the left side looks like it's just the walls broken apart. There's a door right in front of you that looks like it's the main entrance. And there's a double door off to the right. As a priest of Atavius, you would know that the... okay, walk away then, I don't care. The church proper is on the right side. The main center portion of the church is typically regarded as kind of a cloister for the monks and priests of the church, and then the left side would be kind of the bedchambers of such monks. And this old guy shouldn't be there.
I believe that Chad and I don't have vision. Just have.
Okay. Let me check.
Is it dark?
Yeah, it's completely pitch out.
All right, I can see because I have goggles of the night, but I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, Doug.
I could see some.
I also have goggles of night. High five.
I know because I couldn't see otherwise.
Oh yeah, maybe that's why I can't see.
Yeah, you gotta light something if you don't have any way to see in the darkness.
It is raining out. Do you light something?
A torch.
Okay.
I will cast light on my necklace.
Okay.
Oh, well, if he can cast light, why don't you just cast it on the head of my hammer so I can use that as a torch?
That's fine. I can do that.
Sweet.
You're
So
gonna go
instead of a
first.
torch,
Sure.
you're gonna let him cast light on my hammer.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Then you have the light. And Does everybody else see?
No, I
Hell
still
yeah,
can't
dude!
see.
I'm fucking immersed right.
The halfling said he can't see?
I can't see.
Oh, I see why.
Yeah, Chody.
Hold on.
Neither
You
can.
built your character very late in the game. And
Sorry, buddy.
It's okay.
It's been a super busy week.
I understand. It's okay. No worries. Here, I'm gonna duplicate the other halfling so I can get it even
You're
more
not-
mixed up. And then I'm gonna change the character's hit points and stuff so that it's you. And then I'm gonna put a little token on you that says you're not that halfling. You're the other one.
Oh my gosh, it's confusing. We're actually twins. I'm really good at sleight of hand
Right?
too.
When you were saying your character, I was like, oh god, this sucks. I stole his character.
Palos and Petey.
That's alright. It looks the same, but I sound different. See?
Yeah, a little bit.
You sure do, Kevin.
You only have 23 hit points?
That doesn't sound right for.
11th level?
I did character builder, man. I did the character mancer.
Oh, that can't be right.
Do you have negative
Yeah,
constitution?
No.
I have a constitution of 0.
Hold on.
That's why. That's definitely why.
Really?
11. I'm a wizard.
Oh, when you said 0, I thought you meant the actual score was like because of 0, like you were having -5.
No, it only took into account your rogue levels. It didn't take your wizard levels. Hold
Oh,
on.
there you go.
Oh. I screw things up. I'm
You
sorry.
should have
So-
51.
That's
Like,
better.
is it possible to make a character where every time you level up, you actually lose hit points?
Yeah. No.
No,
Maybe.
not possible.
But anyways, you arrive here on the scene. Your horses are off screen. How would you like to enter the this monastery?
You said the like priests and monks' quarters were on the right.
On the left side, the cloister, or kind of just monk study area, is in the center, and then the chapel is on the right.
And what time of day is it?
Oh, it's night.
So would either Kyotaro or Alfred as monks know typically what someone who is, what would they would be doing at this point in the day?
No.
No?
Not in a just destroyed temple. If they're following the regular practices, I mean, they would probably be asleep or at worship.
Okay,
So should we check the chapel then?
sure.
Would you like me to sneak in?
Excellent.
Sure.
Yeah, I would.
Pretty sneaky.
Dorian would definitely let the sneakier types take the lead. Now, this place isn't necessarily abandoned; it's just derelict.
Very derelict, yeah.
We don't know.
So it's more like a pilgrimage site than a proper temple.
Correct.
So we're not sure exactly how many people there should be here.
Correct.
And we're tracking down not only the missing son, Roderick, but we're on the trail of that teacher.
Correct.
The head puller offer, perhaps.
Right. So I just wanted to go over the facts real quick before we get started.
Perfectly
Right.
fine.
If you hear me say, oh shit, run in here and help.
You got it.
Okay?
Go.
Alright, I'm gonna go to the left first.
Okay. When you enter in through the left side there,
I'm sneaking like very sneaky like. Should I roll a stealth?
yeah, that's fine.
No. Alright.
You would see that this isn't the chamber I was specifically talking about. This looks like it's just a small kind of pretty well stable storage room. Looks like the crates inside are relatively fresh, not broken apart. It does look like they are foodstuffs that have been set here and are basically being maintained. The door is openable and closable, but it looks like it's kind of settled on its hinges and it's not actually locked.
Okay.
I'd come out of there and maybe jog back to him real quick and say,
That's just a storage area.
I think we meant the chapel, which is the chapel is to the north.
To the right.
Alright,
To the right. Okay, to the right.
oh, to the right? That would be like, when you say to the right, you mean like over here?
Of the map.
So do we want the stealthy guys to go first, or do we want the less stealthy guys to go first, and then have the stealthy guys be in reserve?
Doesn't matter to me.
I think you want the stealthy guys first.
Go
'cause
stealth,
if,
go.
If there are people, then we won't want to like know they're here before they know we're here.
Or we could have the stealthy guys go one way, and we could have the stealthy guys enter one way, and then have the non-stealthy guys enter another.
Well, let's make it
No, it's
simpler.
not a bad idea.
Because it sounds like you guys are very indecisive and very hard to drag together.
Yeah, no,
Miles,
we're going to the right.
as you
I'm
kind
going
of
this way. I'm sneaking
enter
in there.
into the small antechamber and kind of look in, you see that there's a small amount of candlelight coming off what appears to be a pulpit, chapel's kind of like altar up at the front. You see what looks like a younger man with bright red hair, kind of seated in prayer. A woman standing kind of near him, but attentively kind of watching the room, and an old man in bright red robe with massive gray beard, very straggly looking fellow. And no need for a stealth check, one is not required. The old man immediately says, "Come in, my son. You are a servant of the church, are you not?" You see the woman kind of reach for her sword, looking at the door as the old man says this.
I would say,
Yeah, I'm friendly.
and I'd slowly walk in. Like, I don't have any weapons or anything, so I just look like a really small, not threatening halfling.
The woman still seems to regard you as an enemy, and the man seems to be very welcome to you entering into the church.
It's rain outside, you know.
Of course, come in, away from the rain. Sure, of course. She says,
Okay.
"Did the church send you?"
Yes. We're here on church official business.
The old man just appears to be a very old, kind of priestly type, kind of just looking at you as you enter in. The woman in question looks like a battle-hardened warrior. She's carrying a longsword, fine Atavian make, two short swords at her belt on her sides, crisscrossed pauldrons of leather, heavy purple coat, and she is missing one of her eyes, you think. There's a patch over it. It is her right eye. It looks like there are scratches down the side of her face. It also looks like she has like wrappings around her throat. Her hair's done up in kind of like a warrior top knot, and she kind of gives you a look. Why did they
Excuse my
send you?
French. Well, what the hell happened to you? Are you okay?
Roderick says, "Leave it alone, Sophia. It's fine. I'm busy praying. My ritual will take some time." The young man kind of stands up and looks to you, kind of sighs out. "The high priestess sent you, though?"
Yes.
Has she finally decided to allow me to speak my truth, or no?
Sure. What's your truth? Run it by me.
It is blasphemous to speak it, unless I have the true edict of the high priestess. Your lack of knowledge seems to weigh that you are not speaking truthfully to me. In a house of the even-handed judge, you would lie?
No. Look, I think we got off on the wrong foot.
Sophia kind of steps forward. "Let me handle them, Roderick. Go back to your praying."
My name is Dirk Diggler, and I'm here on official business as an Arrow of Atavian. I have a couple friends that will be helping me out too, so we'd all like to meet with you and talk. Is that all right?
She says to you as she approaches, "Have them come in."
Oh, all right, cool.
So then I would yell out real loud,
Oh shit!
don't worry, that's a code word. Now they're gonna come in, but they may be a little bit excited, so, just everybody chill out. I'll calm them down when they get in.
Okay. You enter in,
You
you
guys hear that, right?
see the woman in shadows as I described. You see that there's a young lad up at the altar praying, and an old priestly type kind of sitting on one of the pews, looking over his shoulder back at you all as you enter in. The woman says to you, "The church didn't send you for us specifically. Why are you here?" And she points at you, specifically Chad. She points at your character specifically when she says that.
It's a long story, but the short version is that Lord Roderick's presence is requested in the city of Belum.
The city of Belum holds no interest for the young lordling. I have been charged with his security. I am
Very well. It's good to know that he's in good hands, but given the absence of his father, Roderick is required to speak in his place.
Unless the High Priestess specifically ordered you to remove Roderick from this temple, I have been given authority to lay blood down even on hallowed ground, if it is what is needed to keep him safe. She says this as she slowly draws naked steel from the sheath and readies her sword. As you see it, you kind of go, oh shit. You realize that it is one of the 9 swords of answering that are handled by the highest of knights in the Atavian Order.
Wow.
Dorian rests his hammer on his shoulder. I mean, it's still in his hand, but he's obviously not preparing for a fight. He has absolutely no desire to cross weapons with a fellow worshiper of Atavius and a fellow servant of the church.
For what purpose is Roderick's presence desired in Belum? If you say it has to do with the Council of Lords, our business is done and you can go.
Well, while the business is with the Council of Lords, it's not the business with the Council of Lords that brought us here. We did not trust the motives of someone who was present at the meeting, and when they headed north, we feared that they were on their way here to visit harm upon.
No one knows of this meeting site besides those who are most trusted. Nobody knows what Roderick's plans are besides those that are most trusted.
I break in and I say that, hold on, I'm looking up names. Yesel Black Welder seemed to have known. He mentioned it in passing at the meeting.
So it's possible that the other council members are aware of Roderick's
He
presence.
said it out loud, and others do know. So and afterwards was when the group left towards this way. There is a chance that he is in danger.
And then Kyotaro would chime in and say, and on the way, we found the body of Deccan Manigalt on the road.
Oh, the head at least.
Interesting.
Head ripped from body.
Right.
So
Interesting.
we do think that Roderick is in danger.
Roderick has much that he is currently praying for. He says that he can hear the voice of Atavius here in this temple. The priest resident thinks he's insane, but humors us nonetheless, and I have been sworn to protect the boy, no matter what. So, if it is your interest to have him return back to the city of Belum, I have to tell you it is not something I plan to... And as she's talking, you hear a voice from outside. Is that whore Elaine inside? A voice that sounds familiar to you all. It sounds like...
Does it sound like the voice of that tiefling?
No. It sounds like the voice of the woman with the black crow feathers and the red leather.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Dorian would turn around and ready himself for battle with his back facing to Sophia. Obviously, he's not intent on fighting her.
At least, yeah.
We do not plan on entering into a temple of Atavius and murdering you. We cannot soil hallowed ground. Bring the defiler Bring the heretic out. Do you look outside, Mordecai?
Yeah.
Can you see them?
Yeah.
Oh shit,
there's
they're all there.
There's a whole crew.
You
They
see,
got a crew.
Alicia,
We got a crew.
you see a Parnin Aeten soldier with a massive great axe, venerable from what you can tell, round shield on his back that he's slowly pulling off and readying. Strange that he'd be fighting with a great axe and a shield. You see Erthos, who you saw before. You see a woman with a spear. You see a Batavian knight, half-orc Batavian knight, wearing a purplish colored cloak. You see a blonde-headed woman with blue cloak and knives. In order, well, not in order, but in some form of look, here would be the ninth woman. Erthos is now closely aligned with what he looks like in his actual picture, and he is not wearing shoes.
Oh, making more sense.
That
Making a
motherfucker.
lot more sense, yeah.
Ripping heads off.
A half-orc in holy armor.
Nice.
I don't think I have the Spear Maiden. She's there. She's kind of last ditch, just to even out the balance. And of course, Alicia, Esther, who I like showing again because she's really cool.
Right. Right. She's showing.
Oh no, this it seems like right.
It looks like they have prepared themselves for combat as well.
Dorian's gonna walk past Mordecai. He says, "Fall back." He says, "Secure the keep." And he stands here in the window or the doorway or whatever this is, and he looks out at everybody. He says, "There's no need for this."
You're right, we have it as we please now, with Manigald's unfortunate demise on the road. However, certainty is required in this matter. I understand that you are a servant of the church. It should be
How very perceptive of you.
It should be your desire to return back to the High Priestess and tell her that it seems that the council has decided. Do you not agree?
Well, this is true. The path you propose does not sit well with me. Does not serve justice.
Justice is being served more than you know.
Perhaps.
A sound interjects, just like of a thud against the stone. Albert, he holds a cane with a crow's head as the pommel, the beak hooking into a crook on the end, and he slams it against the stone. You call this Lord Heretic? By what right do you accuse him? From what I have seen, he merely prays to our even-handed judge and does no harm unto others.
He claims to speak to him, and he offers no proof of it. Atavius said after the
Sorry,
signing
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but like all the light seems to be like the lines of sight seem to be frozen. Like I can't see half the group, even though I'm like standing in plain view of them.
You need to refresh. And
So what
there
was
might
the
be
response
walls
to
blocking
that?
Besides, and she said he says that he speaks directly with the god Atavius. After the covenant of the Ascended was signed, Atavius Gratiaris said that if he were ever to speak to one of his children once again, he would give them his true name. Roderick does not offer it, so proof cannot be made positive by the High Priestess.
And this is all legit, right? Like, she's saying this, and we're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, kind of.
Yeah.
And Albert will kind of turn to the woman, the warrior woman, and Roderick and say, "She speaks true. Roderick, Speak Atavius' true name, or her accusation will ring true.
You obviously don't understand the nature of what goes on here. Priest, she says as she walks towards the door. Lady Vester. And then Lady Vester replies, Ah, Elaine, you whore. What brings you out here? And were you charged with guarding our wayward child? She shakes her head. I don't know you to be anything besides servants of the church. And I don't care much for your decisions in this matter, but if you side with her in this event, you die as well. And she starts walking towards the door. Roderick, she yells over her shoulder. He looks over his. Continue. Do not stop your prayers. Cue Final Fantasy Tactics battle music. I wish I could do that. But she walks towards the door, sword drawn. She's going to be rolling initiative here in the next couple seconds. So
I don't know, boys. This like if this is our we're all whatchamacallit, like religious folk, and right now it sounds like Roderick might actually be a heretic.
Right.
Well, that has yet to be determined.
Why is he a heretic? Just because he doesn't say the name?
Yeah, because
Maybe they're not worthy to hear it.
Yeah.
Before combat is initiated, Dorian's going to use his channel divinity on this whole group.
I'm gonna roll initiative, right?
What does that mean? Remind us what that.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm going to click it and put up so you guys can take a look at it.
I don't know, boys. I feel like I haven't given enough information to start killing people.
They attacked us, though, right?
They're
Well, no
coming
one's
to try
attacked
to-
anyways. Yeah, anyone yet?
They're
like
clearly
they're
here for violence.
Right. Right.
Well, you guys are my boys. If they start cutting you down, then I'll get involved. But
I'll wait
Until then,
that
he'll
point.
pray about it.
Yeah.
I'm still on the fence. I'm not sure what's good.
What kind of a religious zealot are you, man? You just go with one and you stick with it and screw everybody else.
Well, the thing is, we're all supposed to be worshiping the same God. But these guys are saying this guy's a heretic. He can't prove them otherwise. So I don't know.
Christians, so they're killing each other for bullshit reasons. It's just the same shit. Right? It happens all over the world.
pretty
Like,
much.
what if it's some like evil god that's talking to Roderick disguised as Atavius or some shit? Like, and he's like
That
manipulating.
has yet to be determined.
Yeah, but it's a possibility.
Well, that's some shit.
I mean, yeah, it is a possibility, but it has yet to be determined.
I really
You
rolled.
don't have to kill these guys. You can knock
You
I don't
rolled
them
great,
out.
John. You rolled perfect, John.
I don't know, for whatever reason, it won't let me measure things. Like, I can't measure distance.
Chad's having issues.
I don't know who I'm missing.
And I still can't see everybody. I mean, it's just like whatever the line of sight is just frozen. Not sure if somebody else has the light source or something, but
Oh, Cassandra.
I'm assuming all these guys
Oh,
are within
I have
30 feet of
control.
me.
I have control of Chad.
Yeah. So everybody has control of everybody else at this point. So
Oh, okay, okay,
Oh.
yeah, it made it easier for
You're
line of
missing your
sight.
blonde.
got it.
Yeah, I'm missing my blonde lady. Cassandra. Thank you, thank you. Oh, she rolled better than an 8 or 9.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you rolled horrible.
Yep. All right.
DC 16 Wisdom saving throw.
For what?
Channel divinity.
You're not operating in combat. If it's an action, you're not.
No, I was using it as an alternative to initiating combat.
Oh, there's no alternative to initiating combat because you don't go first. Sophia does. So we're in an initiative order, is what I'm saying. If your thing takes.
No,
an
I was
action-
trying to do this before initiative, but I was having technical issues and I couldn't figure out what was
Okay. What's the thing?
channel divinity.
Okay, what do you... Tell me what it does.
As an action, you present your holy symbol. Each creature of your choice you can see or hear within 30 feet of you, which is basically all of these people assembled out here, must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, be charmed by you until the end of your next turn, or until the charmed creature takes any damage. You can also cause any of the charm creatures to drop what they are holding when they fail the saving throw.
Okay.
Basically, they fail, I want to make them drop their weapons, and while they're charmed, I want to try and convince them to walk away.
Sophia passes. Varen passes. The Sphere Maiden passes. Alicia passes. Artist does not pass. Neither does Erthos, and Cassandra passes.
2 is not bad, especially Sirius and
Erthos
strong
doesn't
guy.
drop anything because he's not wielding any weapons, and Artist drops his great axe if you want him to. You won't walk away
totally.
because there was no part that said you'd tell them what to do.
But they're charmed.
Charmed isn't control.
Right.
It just means
No, that's fine,
I'm
but
not
I
fighting
can
him.
definitely make the suggestion.
Would he drop his shield too?
No, that's an action to do.
Oh.
All right, Sophia is starting the situation off hot. She does appear like vengeance and murder is her intent here. You just now rolled initiative. You're a turkey.
I told you I was having issues.
You're trying to sabotage me. She rushes in. She attacks Erthos. She swings the sword. Miss. Hit. And he takes some damage. Pretty solid blow. But she definitely looks like she is enraged and she's focused on the combat. Pellis.
I'm going to move back and actually I'm going to come out around here and I'm going to stealth there, and if someone steps here I'm going to attack them.
Okay.
You want me to go ahead and roll stealth?
Yes, please. Bonus action hide. Got it.
An enemy or just someone?
An enemy. I'm sorry, an enemy.
That's good. I was going to step there.
Yeah, I would hate it if you shot me in the leg or something.
Might be good.
Okay. Perfectly acceptable. The blonde head woman rushes over to behind Erthos, jumps up onto the wall, and then sprint boards off of it so that she's now behind Sophia. As she does so, she seems to pull out a pair of daggers, and she'll go. So she will hit.
Ninja Barbie.
She will hit, and then she will hit again. It looks like she does quite a bit of damage to Sophia, but as she kind of gets stabbed in the back, Sophia kind of just grimaces and kind of looks over her shoulder, like annoyed. Not bloodied at all. All right, Petey.
All right. What Petey's going to do is, actually, I can't really even see everybody. Is this a window over here?
Door.
What? No, I meant. Sorry. Is that a window?
That's a door.
A door. Okay.
That's
And
the
it's probably.
main door.
Oh, okay. Is it open or cracked
Yeah,
open?
it was
or?
open when you were looking at it before.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
No problem.
I think that I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move to it, but I want to kind of. Is there any way I can like?
Yeah,
make
use
it so
cover.
there's only a crack to the door.
Well, the door's not. There's no door. It's mostly just a portal.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna like kind of peek through it. Is there? It's kind of a weird question. Is there? I realize some of these creatures can see in the dark. Is there anybody carrying a light or a light source that I can see?
Not that you can see.
Okay, so they all can have dark vision or something is what I'm going to assume. Alrighty, son of a bitch. Alright, I'm going to sneak out of the door, if possible.
Okay.
So, like, basically do a dash, because I moved over here. Wait, you can't do a dash and a sneak, can you?
You can.
Okay, I'll try to, I want to, like, try to sneak out here hidden.
Okay. So you're doubling your movement with your action to
Yeah.
dash, and then bonus action hide. So go ahead and make a stealth
Right.
check as you tuck to the corner.
Sweet. That's what I want to do. All right.
Okay.
19.
You pop out
Right
and
on.
you kind of just very quickly and lowly kind of rush across the courtyard into that corner and hold your position.
Yep. All right, that's it. Thanks.
All right. That's Petey. Kyotora.
Five. I'm going to fire my short bow at.
Okay.
17 to hit.
1 second. Okay, so that hits, but I'm going to go ahead and spend a key point after deflecting arrows. Roll your damage. I beat yours. And I'll throw it back in your face. 22 will hit, right?
22 will hit.
Take 8 points of piercing damage. As the arrow comes flying towards him, he kind of like avoids the fight with Sophia for a second, kind of like grabs it, spins around and throws it directly at you.
And then I'm going to finish my move
Okay.
right over here.
Dorian.
So which one had the great axe? This big burly barbarian bro?
Yep, it's laying on the ground next to him.
Okay. Dorian's gonna move into this space adjacent to Sophia. He says to the barbarian, "You should leave before you get hurt." And then he swings at the tiefling.
Okay. He blocks it.
Yeah, 10 misses.
catch
Bonus action, I'm gonna...
He seems to catch the
Go ahead.
hammer head with his like hand like that and kind of block it like a punch. Pretty surprising. His hands seem to be made of magic.
And then I'm gonna bonus action heroism at second level to cast it on both myself and Sophia. And when I do, I say, defend yourself, basically ordering or
Sophia to use
you know
her
encouraging her to attack the girl with the.
She does. She hits. And she's still above half health, so she does quite a bit of damage to her. The rogue woman is not knocked down by the attack. And she gets temporary hit points. Roll. What's your hit point? What's your spellcaster ability modifier?
She gets +4, so 4 temporary hit points at the beginning of her turn. And that is.
That's it. Bonus action, and movement. Next up is White Crow. Seems that they're fighting outside, but you're not sure.
No, I'm not sure at all. I guess I'm just gonna kind of observe for now. I'm still not exactly sure what's happening. So I'm going to move kind of over here, and as a like say something to the priest.
Okay.
All right. Why don't I have light?
I don't know.
So I think that vision is somehow my vision for also is affected by Steve's movement.
Yeah,
I
it seems
see-
like
I-
all my
I-
vision is based on.
I see less now than before he moved.
There we go. That's much better. Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to kind of say to the priest as I kind of am maneuvering by to Father,
Oh,
blood is being spilled on hallowed ground. You must intervene. We are all children of the even-handed judge.
the only ground that is hallowed here, young one, is this monastery's chapel. The rest has already been sacrosanct. And you pass
Alright,
by as he
guess-
finishes words. Real quick,
Yep.
Andy, to answer your question, you have sight from everybody, so you'll see as if you're seeing through everyone's tokens. So
Thank you.
That's why you can see from speed.
Alright, well, keep kind of waiting it out, but I will use a bonus action to let out my noxious aura. Just so it'll be surrounding me if I do end up getting in there.
Okay, what's the radius on it?
Only 5 feet, so it's like directly around.
Got it.
Yeah, no one's affected at the moment. And then I guess my action will just be to dodge for now.
Shoot. Sorry, getting the cat out of here. Okay, cool. It'll go to the monk. Presumably a monk.
More like Steve's character is like Pigpen from Charlie Brown.
He will cast a spell. He casts Spirit Guardians. You watch as an aura of energy kind of appears around him. You also note that as he does so, a second aura kind of activates underneath it, his aura of terror. If you are adjacent to him and you are not immune to the, if you're adjacent to him and you are not immune to the frightened condition, you have disadvantage on attack rolls or saving throws.
Well, thankfully, both of us are.
Yeah. Wait, are you?
Part of heroism is immune to being frightened.
Cool. Alright. And then Spirit Guardians. Sorry, my brain's not working.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm definitely going to cancel that spell.
What do you mean?
Counterspell.
You're going to counterspell it? Is that a thing you can do? Chad?
Yeah, sorry. I had to grab my mouse.
So you can counterspell?
I can.
Okay. Get another third level slot out of there. So that puts you down to 2 of those. Okay, cool. Alright, it'll go.
No, that's a third level spell slot. I cast heroism at second level.
Yeah. I said, yeah, you're down 1. Up to the third level spell. That's what I said.
Oh, sorry.
And it'll go to her. She will cast. Looks like a number of spells have already been cast upon her. Most specifically, it does look like she has a Shimmer Shine of Mage Armor. Yeah. She's gonna cast. Nothing. She's gonna ready her action to cast a spell. Okay. Artist picks up his axe. And
Now, he was charmed.
yeah, I know, he can't attack you. He will attack Sophia though. He's going to actually use his action to battle cry. He yells out in kind of the common tongue, but sounds like it has a very Parnan kind of sound to it. He says, "For House Stathos!" And he will battle cry. All his allies have advantage on their next attack roll. And then he can make an attack. Yep. And then he can make an attack as a bonus action. 21 to hit, 13 slashing damage on Sophia.
How beat up is she looking?
Not too bad. She's a pretty venerable warrior. She looks like she's holding her own. The Spear Maiden rushes in alongside Erthos. She will yell out a battle cry as well. For Labofish! She yells out as she raises the spear. She chooses herself, Erthos, and Artis, and they have Bless. Plus 1d4 to their attack rolls and saving throws. And then Mr. Plumcloak will stand in the back, granting his aura of paladininess to his allies, and he readies an action to actually he will ready an action to attack anybody who comes close to the back line. I think that's it for my side. Oh, sorry. No. Let me double check. So I'm going to use let me check that it's right. Oh, come on now, slow computer. This isn't supposed to be that bad. What am I downloading? Some sort of hentai, probably.
Probably.
She can only target one creature with it. Okay. She'll target Cassandra, and she'll cast haste on her. Alright, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and put some pips on me to keep track of my own stuff. Wodakai, you're up. Yellow's for haste. Blue's for bless.
Go, Joe.
I am casting haste on Chad and spending 3 sorcery points to duplicate it to Sophia.
That's cool. It's canceled.
Fuck yes. I love you. Love you, Joe.
That's cool. I cancel it. I counterspell it.
You got me.
No, I'm outside it. No, yeah, it's 60-foot range. I'm good. Yep.
Do I still use
the spell slot
3 point?
and the 3 points. No.
I don't
Sorry.
understand the order of operation.
You do not use the meta magic on the spell. The spell is canceled before it's cast or augmented.
Alright.
So you lose a 3rd level spell slot.
Alright.
You want to counterspell? You want to play that game with me? Fuck you, Matt Barnett. Anyway, next up is Sophia. I didn't miss anybody.
Counterspell your counterspell.
Got everybody? Okay, good. She will attack. Actually, oh yeah, I totally forgot. She was attacked. She should have. That's the wrong one. She should have answered. So she's tearing this monk apart. Excuse me, I've got a cat. Hold on. Just the first 2. So 17 and 17. So 34. He looks pretty well wounded. Actually, she knocks him down.
The one without the shirt?
Yep, the monk.
That's the monk?
No.
Okay, got it.
There are 2 shirts.
No, the head puller guy.
The head puller?
Nice. Oh yeah.
Senor head pull.
And she kind of drops him down and says, "You can give up at any time, Alicia. And flee." Palace.
Get in there.
Right. I'm gonna go ahead and cast sleep in here.
Okay, it does nothing.
Okay.
You can roll 5d4, but none of them have low enough hit points for it to do anything.
5d4?
Yeah. Unless you're upcasting it.
My sleep says 5d8.
Is it D8?
Yeah.
Well, sure enough. Yeah, go ahead and roll it. Probably won't matter though.
$23.
Yeah. Did you cast it on higher level?
2. Level 2.
So 34. Yeah, nobody's affected by it.
8. Good job, guys. Way to go. Keep going.
Cassandra, the rogue. She will roll out of combat with Sophia and bring blades to bear against you. Dorian. 2 dagger attacks. That's the wrong button. There we go. So 24 and a 23. Both hit, right? Chad?
Yeah, they both hit.
So that'll be a total of 36 points of piercing damage from the 2 attacks.
And it hasn't come back around, so I still don't have my reaction.
Not yet, yeah. That's her. She'll continue her movement. She goes up and over the wall and rolls behind the paladin. She does not provoke an opportunity attack because she disengaged to start. She's done. It'll go to Petey.
All right. Okay. I think PD is going to cast a cantrip called Ghost Knife.
As a bonus action. Okay.
Yep. And then throw it at. Has this woman been hurt?
Which one?
Oh wait, I got it. The blonde one, not the shield.
Yeah, the blonde one's taken a single blow from Sophia.
Oh gosh, only one. All right, well I'll attack her anyways.
Okay.
Because I don't think the shield main's been hit yet, has she? This one?
The spear maiden?
Shield woman?
She hasn't been hit yet.
Okay, I'll just attack this one at
Okay.
least. I'm gonna throw my ghost dagger. I would get sneak attack, right? Ghost knife.
Yeah.
Make 2 concentration.
You don't have an ally adjacent to her, so no.
But isn't it like a sneak attack though? I mean, it's like she doesn't know I'm there.
She's. Oh, yeah, you hid. That's right. Yeah, she wouldn't know you're there.
All right. Well, 20 would be what my roll was. Does that hit?
Let's see.
It's only 6 psychic, and then there would be sneak attack, I believe. I'll click it just in case we figure out we can do it. Hey, what's going on? It's not clicking.
Well, 20 hits, and then it'll be 6 psychic, and then your d6 for sneak attack.
Too many ones.
I rolled 3 ones. That's pretty horrible. 15 sneak attack.
Not bad.
So 6 psychic and 15 sneak attack damage.
She looks pretty wounded by the psychic blow. They all look kind of over in your direction, seeing you there, specifically the paladin.
I would like to move over here and then like try to hide. Like by over here, I mean going through the door and getting out of this fart cloud that one character left.
Okay.
I'd be like, oh, it stinks in here, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually say that because then they'll all know I was there. Can I hide now?
That's
I'm
funny.
actually around a corner.
Yeah, you can go ahead and make a hide check.
I'll make a hide check because I want to get the hell out of there. All right, guys, that's my MO. Hit and run. Hit and run.
Beautiful.
All right, sweet. That's it.
All right. Kyotaro.
So he's gonna move. John, I want to use the swift strike, but I have a question.
Okay.
So if I'm in this position, so I moved up 5 feet, and I moved at a diagonal, can I? Would I be able to attack the woman to my right? Like who exactly gets attacked?
So the best that you can do, if you're wanting to include Alicia, is you would
You would
only be able to get Artis and her as well. If you want to get the most possible, I'd say you could probably do this. Yeah, you could. No, that's not going to work either. It's not more than 50%. Yeah, artist and her, if you want to get her included. Looks like in the current position that you're in, 2 is probably the most you're going to be able to pull.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad if someone got in that
Unless
space.
you flip over this wall and then straight through them all. Like that. Well, it's still 2 because he's down.
No, I want to be able to get back under cover, which and I have enough movement to do.
Okay. So then you'd want to go, I guess, through her and then make your way back?
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, I could occupy the same space, right? So it would be I occupy his space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then for each attack, do I get 2 attacks since I have extra attack?
No.
How does that work?
It's 1 attack against everybody in the line.
1 attack, and can I spend a key point to do stunning strike or anything like that?
No.
No. That's fine.
The benefit of this is that you're making a lot of it. Well, I guess, I mean, let me read it again.
Sure.
You make a single melee attack against them all. So no, yeah, no stunning attack since it would be declarative. I'm gonna have to make sure that that's keyed out. Yeah, you cannot stunning attack because it's 1 attack against all. So what's your line?
So the line is like we said, we're gonna go
Artist and her.
Yeah, artist and.
Okay, so go ahead and make 1 attack. Okay, she'll cast shield.
So this is against this guy.
Yeah, you'll hit both.
Okay.
You'll hit both, but she's blocking with shield. Go ahead and roll.
Wait,
damage.
who is the wizard?
I'm
Alicia, yeah.
confused.
Didn't she use her reaction for counterspell?
Correct. Good point. So she's not casting shield. Thank you for keeping me.
Sorry, we're playing these games now, right?
More serious. Getting the serious face. Go ahead and click the damage, and then go ahead and move to the end of the line. So 10 piercing to both.
So the end of the line is in her.
On the other side of her. So
There is no other side.
You'd be
on the-
5. You go ahead and move yourself to right there.
That.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm gonna make my way back.
And you have mobile.
I have mobile. I have 65 feet.
So you're going around the outside so you don't get attacked by the paladin. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Dorian.
Oh, right. Has the guy with the great axe taken damage?
Yep, just then.
All right, so he's no longer charmed.
Well, he was only charged for 1 turn.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm gonna attack this spear maiden.
Okay.
Hold on, I need to read the wording of one of my maneuvers. Okay, so I'm going to actually step into this square, and then I'm going to swing on the spear maiden.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'll swing on the paladin.
Go for it. You notice that there's a glint of shimmering light about him as you swing in.
The 24 hit.
Miss.
No shit. Damn.
Yeah, 25 AC.
I remember those days.
All right. White Crow.
Sorry, I just got to make sure I have enough movement for what I want to do. Can I get to the wizard without getting stabbed by a rogue. Big question of the day. I'm just gonna count it.
Yeah, you can get to her, but you will be opportunity attacked by the rogue, I think. You have what, 50 movement?
No, I just made it 50. Ha!
Okay.
Got her. And I'm gonna hit her over the head with my stick.
Sure.
She's
26.
also hit over the head with your.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, we'll do a stunning strike.
Okay.
So con saving throw, DC 16.
22.
Yep, she made that. Let's go bonus action.
What's the damage?
6 bludgeoning. That's
Okay.
pretty low roll.
Bonus
Let's go
action.
bonus flurry of blows.
Okay, 1 key
So
point.
try to hit her in her.
So that's 2 key points you spent so far.
Yeah, 10 and a 19.
19 will work.
I'll do 9, and I'm gonna spend another key for Hands of Harm.
Which says?
So as I
Spend 1 key point to deal an extra necrotic damage dice equal to your martial arts die.
8.
I'll roll one more d8. I
Is
think I
not
made him.
incapacitated or poisoned. Okay.
Yeah, so just the one extra 6.
Cool. That it?
That's it, Ming.
All right. Earthos will make a death saving throw.
Die.
A failure.
I should have just attacked him instead.
Yeah, strike him.
Alicia will be.
Didn't realize he was a player character.
Well, he's already got 1 failed from the line, though. He wasn't hit by the line that cut through Artis and Alicia. She'll cast Misty Step.
Counterspell.
Okay.
And I need her to make another con saving throw.
Oh, okay. For the aura.
Yep.
15? You said 16's a DC?
Yeah, so she'll take 4 poison damage, and she also has the poisoned condition.
Okay. Oh wait, that's not what it is for poisoned. Okay. And you said 4 points of poison damage?
Yep.
Okay. So she's stuck here with you. And you're annoying. So I guess I will. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and take the most I can get here. I'm gonna cast Fireball. I'm gonna do it.
I'm behind a wall.
Basically centered on the window, like right near the wall. It wraps around corners, no problem. And it'll get you 4. Dexterity saving throw from Sophia. The Dragon Blade, the Dragon Mage, and the Halfling.
Oh, goodness gracious, I had a crit fail.
Ooh, 25.
You roll with advantage, Andy. You should have evasion, unless you're not a full monk.
Incorrect.
No, I
Evasion
am.
doesn't
I
give
have-
an advantage. It says that if you fail, you take.
I have
damage.
half damage.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm new to.
No worries. Unreal.
Does anybody have inspiration?
No.
All right. So Mordecai, you'll take half. Kyotaro, you'll take half. Chody, you'll take half. Half of this fireball will be 20. And nobody took full. Oh wait, no. Sophia took full, so she'll take 40. As she spits up a bit.
How's
of
she
fire-
looking now?
As she spits up a bit. Sophia's fucked up. But as Alicia spits up a bit of bile and kind of looks into the White Crow's face, she kind of says, "Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll kill you all. I'll kill you all." Artis kind of sees the situation kind of arising over there. It will turn about and move from Sophia, provoking an opportunity attack from her. She'll take it. Yeah, she will. So 18 26, 37. Takes a large just dash right out of his back. You can watch his blood, and you can kind of see a bit of bone kind of appear on his back as he darts away from her. Angered, but even more so angered at the monk, comes in, jumps up into the air with the battle axe straight up, shield out, and not battle axe, sorry, great axe, and slams it down at you. This is the first attack he's made since he was granted the advantage. If my thing will roll, that'll crit. And
Oh no.
he deals an extra 12 on a crit. So 25 and 8 is 33 points of damage to you. And that's his first attack. Second attack. That's a big fat whippo. Basically drops you down and then swings at you, and it just kind of goes over your head. Alright. Lady Leatherfish will attack with spear against the paladin. 16 misses probably, and 24.
Yep.
Just 24.
24 hits.
Okay. She'll spend a spell slot for smite.
Yay.
She'll do a total of 4 slashing and 15 radiant.
Okay, so I take 14 points of damage.
Are you resistant to something?
No, but I have 4 temporary hit points.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Oh, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and give Lady Lane 4 back. Cool. All right, it'll go to Lord Plumcloak.
I'm going to roll concentration.
Okay. He will use his action.
18.
That'll do it. He'll use his action to lay on hands on Mordecai. Or not Mordecai, sorry, wrong tiefling. Mordecai, even. On, oh my god, how have I already forgotten his name? Erthos. And he'll dump a bit into it to get him back up.
I'm an idiot. Oh well.
Mordecai.
I want to step forward and cone of cold air.
Including the monk?
I can take it. I can
yeah.
take it.
Yeah, but I will meta magic and spend 1 point to choose up to 5 creatures that aren't affected, which will be Sophia, Chad, Steve.
Pro tip: you can go.
That's it.
You can go between her and Chad if you wanted to omit her from it. She's able to be outed. You would have to hit Chad and Steve though if you want to hit them.
Yeah, that's fine, but I'll use the meta magic.
Yeah, and it doesn't omit them. It means they automatically save on the saving throw. They'll still take half damage.
It's a dexterity saving throw for Cone of Cold?
Yeah, but you auto save it, so you'll.
Yeah, so I'm good
evade
then.
it. The Chad will take damage. So go ahead and roll the Clone of Cold. Yeah, the wizard evocation ability is the one that emits. So Chad, you'll take 17 points of cold damage, and then my people will make some saving throws.
Do I need to make a saving throw?
No, it auto saves. Yeah. You auto save because he uses meta magic to say you get an automatic success.
And because of Draconic Ancestry, add 5 more to that, so it'd be 30.
Okay.
Because it's cold, and I'm cold.
39 then.
Okay, so I'm sorry, how much do I take?
You'll take half of 39.
So 20.
Run down.
18.
All right. The Lady Rogue evades. The 2 knightly folks, the Spear Maiden and the half orc, take the damage in full. And Lady Alicia will cast Absorb Elements as her reaction, because she has it now. No. Yeah, she'll use Absorb Elements. So she'll take half, and the next time she does... No, fuck that. I'm not wasting it. I'll just take the damage. I'll take my half.
What about Earthos?
What about Tiefling?
Oh, he dead. Again.
He's
Dead.
frozen. Because it's Kona cold, lol. He's frozen.
Was that his last death saving throw?
Is this a Song of Fire and Ice? No, because he'd gotten back up because lay on hands. So refresh.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Sophia will use one of her 2 attacks to put a critical roll into him, so he fails 2 death saving throws automatically. And then she'll step forward and attack the half-orc.
And she gets temp hit points.
The first attack would have been against the monk. It would have dealt damage for just 1 death saving throw, not 2, because she didn't hit. It auto hits, but if it hits, it crits. And then the 17 versus the paladin does nothing. And yeah, she gets 10 hit points. Alright, Palace.
I'm gonna go ahead and focus on that orc too, and I'm gonna firebolt.
Okay.
16.
Nope. Based on what you've seen so far, his armor class is insane. You want to hit him with
Yeah.
saving throws at this point.
Okay. I'm gonna move back
Okay.
and hide.
Yep.
15.
That's your stealth. If anybody can see you, they can see you.
Cool, got it.
Cassandra will dart into the noxious aura and defend her queen, the leader of the group. You made a bad choice. Is what you did.
No. I gave 2 rounds.
20,
People would make a nice wall. Didn't
20.
happen.
24 and 20 both hit, right?
I'm in great deals of pain.
33 points of damage.
Ooh, it just puts me down.
Stab, stab. Drops you down to the ground. She turns and looks over her shoulder. Does the aura go away when you're down?
It does, because now I'm technically incapacitated.
Okay, cool. But yeah, she will then move away from you and back into the front, facing off against Sophia. The 2 of them both look pretty well wounded, but angry and hateful towards one another. Like they know each other. That's it for Cassandra. Petey, you are hidden.
Awesome. Let's kick some ass.
I will. PD will sneak out of here.
Mhm.
Actually,
Well, you don't need
really
to.
have be.
Yeah, you don't need to hide until you're technically hidden now. So if you're attacking from hidden, if you're moving out from hidden, you don't need to make a new stealth check. Are you moving out to attack somebody though?
Yeah, I want to move out to it. Throw like my knife. I was
Oh,
like,
you're just
20
popping and
foot
tossing.
range.
Yeah, go ahead and chuck it.
So like from 20-foot range. Let me check something real quick here. I guess I can.
Throw it. Just throw the attack.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Well, I
You're
want to
hidden.
see who I want to attack first.
If
I
you're-
want to attack that chick, the like roguey chick.
The paladin's in the way. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Attack this guy. He's good.
Yeah, I'll go down and attack that guy then.
Okay.
That barbarian guy.
Cool.
All right, let's throw it. Throw it, guys. Let's see what happens here. Ghost knife.
Been pretty smart about attacking him with
That's
non-physical
probably
damage.
that's
15.
it's gonna hit.
15 hits.
Oh, 15 does hit. All right, sweet. And that's good because it's ghost knife damage is only what the hell?
23.
Oh, it added the sneak attack in there. Sweet. It's a crappy roll again. Wow.
23.
Yeah, 9 psychic and 14
Yeah.
sneak attack.
Okay.
All
They
right,
see you.
Not bad, not bad.
Do you rush back into the doorway?
Hell yeah. I rush back.
As you rush back into
Well,
the
wait a
doorway,
minute.
you hear coming from
You know
behind
what?
you. Go and
Actually,
deal
wait,
with that.
Wait. Before you tell me what was going to happen, what if I wanted to rush back somewhere else
Go.
and hide? I want to rush back over here and hide because I
Okay.
have plans for like saving people in the future. All right, hide roll, stealth roll, boom.
Yep. They see you
Ooh,
jump
pretty
over
good
the
stealth.
wall and top behind, and then you hear from coming from
Yeah.
behind you. Go and deal with that nuisance from the Lady Vester.
Oh, not good.
All right. Kyotaro?
Yeah, I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna get to here, and I want to get by going. So the map doesn't allow me to go any more south. I just want to avoid opportunity attacks from the 2. Essentially, I'm one south of this position.
Okay. Could just be easy and stay on the map. That would be difficult.
Sorry.
Sure.
I'm gonna use my strength, which is speed. So I'm gonna take 2 sword attacks at her.
Okay. Hit.
Okay.
Miss.
And a miss. So for 9 piercing, I'm going to spend a key point and try stunning strike on her.
Okay.
So
what's the DC?
it's a D15.
Passed it.
And then I'm going to spend another key point to disengage and move.
Step in the wind. Okay. Cool. Dorian, you are up.
I'm gonna attack the rogue.
Okay. Good choice.
$25.
That'll work. Actually, I'm going to use the Paladin's reaction to interpose my shield between you and her. You attack with disadvantage for the first attack. So, block. Second.
I don't know why I clicked that.
Do you have a second attack?
Hold on.
Or no?
Yeah, well, I don't, but I mean, I have an action surge I was going to use. I'm just trying to, like, rearrange my action economy real quick.
Sorry.
So, action surge, attack the rogue again.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I've got something I'm going to do with my bonus action, but one thing that's... Fuck. Does a 15 hit the rogue?
Doesn't hit.
God damn it. Okay, bonus action, mass healing word at 2nd level. Okay. I'm going to heal myself, I'm going to heal Sophia, I'm going to heal the monk, the sorcerer, and let me see.
Can you heal me?
Can I see these 2 guys over here?
I would say you could see... you cannot see the halfling. You can see the elf.
That would be nice. They got charred for that fireball.
So monk, elf, and tiefling, and Sophia.
Yeah, so everybody gets, all of them get 8 hit points.
And then can you use the order thing again or no?
Yeah, I can.
Sophia.
Yeah, I was gonna, yeah, okay. So, yeah, Sophia, please, for the love of God, kill some.
She's attacking the rogue. She hits 23. She knocks her down. And she looks to you as she does so and nods. Looks like she's getting ready to step over her and move into Alicia's. That's your turn. Whitecrow, you're laying down on the ground. Rain's kind of pulling.
I'm sorry, did Joe get his hit points back, and did Pete, or I guess I don't know what everybody else's names are. Cause
you can't see Petey, he's hiding. You can't see either of the halflings. One's behind a wall and one's behind a wall. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Moving on.
Okay. You're laying on the ground, rain's kind of pulling in your goggles. You kind of slowly get up. That damn barbarian's still standing there. That's you, Steve.
Okay.
You're
sorry.
prone, you're adjacent to the barbarian.
I stand up and use half my movement.
Okay.
I take the disengage action.
Alright.
Yes, I have 25 feet. I can go. And I can't move through people even disengaging, right? Or can I?
Yeah, you can. Well, you can move around if you're trying to get around to the other side.
Yeah, I'm trying to get behind Chad, essentially.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, so disengage, just bloop, 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 now I'm over here. And then... How much was that? Let's go one more, just for this. And then I'll very quickly... Because I have a big... What was I hit by? Daggers and a big fucking axe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I quickly reach into my cool doctor bag, whip out a bunch of a thread and a needle, and I just quickly give myself some quick stitches, and I'm going to use my healer feat to use a healing kit
Okay.
to do some quick field heal.
So that pops in what? D6 is it?
It says 1d6 plus 4 plus additional hit points equal to creature's maximum number of hit dice. So it would be
Cool. So 11 plus D6 plus 4. All right. Erthos is dying, gurgling, bleeding, dead. He just failed his last death saving throw. Alicia will grin as you have only really hit her with that spell, Cone of Cold, and quite a bit of other things, but that was the main one. She'll go ahead and return the favor. I think we're looking at hitting the maiden. Yeah. Monk, monk, tiefling, paladin, and NPC. Reflex saving throws. Cast fireball again.
What? Okay, yeah, counterspell that.
Okay. Casting it as 3rd level.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll a d20 and add your charisma modifier. She's casting it 5th level. So you need a 15 on the result. So d20 plus your charisma.
You mean my wisdom?
Oh yeah, you're a cleric. Sorry, not a paladin. I'm sorry. I'm just used to being a paladin. Go ahead and make a d20 plus wisdom. That beats my 15.
Yeah, that's why I'm not making extra attacks.
Counterspell works. Yeah, she is very annoyed. Artist does as commanded. No one's currently adjacent to him. He runs around the rock here.
Although, considering I'm fighting 2 paladins, I kind of wish I was playing one.
You were hidden from his sight, but when he comes around the corner, you are no longer hidden from his sight. He will attack you.
Fuck.
17 and 9.
The 9 misses. I think 17 might miss too. I think my AC is 18.
It is 18.
Double check that.
Yeah, so he just starts cleaving into the stone wall beside you, missing. Those were with advantage. He's doing really bad. Lady Lavofish will smack on this freaking cleric. 9 misses, 23 hits, and she'll go ahead and pop another Divine Smite. So this will be for a total of 27 damage on you, Chad.
I just can't win.
Varen will pop.
That would have been an attack I would have loved to have hit with a Fury Shield.
Varen will pop his last 20 lay on hands into the rogue.
Alright, so, I'm sorry, what's, that was 27 damage?
Yeah.
And what's my concentration check?
27 halved would be 13. Making it? You're successful.
Yep.
Alright.
So, yeah, Dorian's looking pretty fucked up.
He's a cleric. So Varen heals the rogue. She's now conscious again. And back to Wodakai. Chody, just so you know, I'm almost done. I swear.
Yeah, I gotta go pretty soon.
Yep.
I'm gonna have one more turn and I gotta get out.
Okay.
Did it.
What you doing?
I don't know, dude. What do you do?
What are you doing?
Okay. Hold on.
Alright.
Stop. You. Alright. I go this way. And yes, she's attacking me. I got it.
Okay. Well, you got to climb over the wall. So make an athletics check, and if you do that, you can avoid her.
I was kind of just trying to like
Slip past her?
squeeze by
Okay.
and take the attack.
That's fine. Yeah, then she'll attack you. Uh, 19.
Got me.
She'll use her smite.
Smoted.
You're not technically a demon, so I don't add extra. It'll be a total
Fucking
of
racist, dude.
sorry, 24 points of damage. 19 of it being radiant.
All right.
And then
And then I'll Kona Cold again.
just
So that I'm not hitting
your
this time.
just your bad guys. Okay. So you're not hitting the Spear Maiden. Okay.
Nah.
Paladin fails. Fuck, the Rogue fails. And Alicia fails.
Boom! The damn!
Oof.
Alright.
Nice
Plus
job
five.
there.
55. Because it's cold. And if they die, they're frozen.
Mm-hmm. As you throw forth the blast of cold, and Sophia raises her sword, you watch as Alicia's body kind of freezes in place, and so does Cassandra's. The paladin raises his weapon and drops it, and holds his hands up in the air. I surrender, as she raises the sword of answering. Then flee. Does everyone else allow the paladin to exit?
Which one?
The half-orc.
The orc. Hell,
All I did was
Yeah.
He has one chance. He has one chance to flee. If he does anything but flee, I'm gonna murder the shit out of him.
He starts stepping away, and before he does so, he says, "By the way, this was all a ruse, and Lady Esther is not dead."
What?
Well, we were dealing with you out here. Matters at hand inside were being engaged. Sophia looks at him. What do you mean?
Oh shit.
The ones who actually came here and led us here. The ones from the monastery. They've taken. Before he even finishes the sentence, she cuts his head clean off, and rushes back into the temple. At that, as you're fighting with the guy with the axe, Kevin, he's kind of like sees that happen and goes, "Oh!" and turns and starts running away. Do you attack him in his back before he gets away, or do you let him run away?
I probably had a reflex, would try to attack him once.
Go for it.
And then probably let him go after that. You know, just like automatically.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
Just a little 19 damage.
Oh yeah, he doesn't make it. He falls to the ground.
Wait, would I get sneak attack on when he's running like that? I don't know.
How much would you have dealt without?
7.
He does not make it.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, he was not doing too well. All right. She rushes into the temple. What do you all do?
We follow.
Okay.
If this other paladin is still engaged in a fight, I'm gonna keep fighting.
The Spear Maiden is stepping down from the fight as well. She's not. Yeah, she's definitely wasn't volunteering any information like the half-orc did, though. She would rather not.
Dorian tells her to drop her weapon and leave.
She says, "I will not drop this weapon. I will take it with me."
That doesn't matter. I wasn't hurting anybody anyway.
You can take your knife, but leave your limbs. They belong to us now.
Can we say that?
Simmer down there, frickin' bride. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my Zoom meeting. It's being difficult. But yeah. That said, when you rush back into the temple again, going through the mind, from this point, you see the old priest laying against a column with a massive wound in his chest, kind of looking up at you, kind of looking to strain as he does so. And You see that the young lad is no longer there. He doesn't appear to be present up in his position. The broken wall in the northern portion of the area, it looks like it leads out to the cliff. If you look out the cliff, you can see that some distance away, it looks like there is a ship on the water in the lake that seems to be moving away with a single lone person on it.
I'm sorry, is Roderick dead?
Roderick has disappeared. The priest is the one that's dead.
Right, but there's only one person on the boat that's leaving.
Correct, that you can see.
Well, I mean, I can't see anything. I'm patching my wounds.
That they can see, correct.
Right.
So are we out of combat now?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna do some healing here.
We're going kind of more to a cinematic deal. So no big deal on that, Chet.
Wait, so if they said about Lady Vester was still alive, so who's this wizard that got turned into a pops?
Do you break her out of the ice?
Can I break like her head out of the ice so she can talk?
Yeah, you can try.
Alright. Like, smash it in such a way that like her head is free, but like her limbs are frozen.
You pull the ice away, hoping that it kind of pulls away from the flesh, but you realize that it pulls the face off with it. And what you realize is that the head left behind is hollow. Looks like the interior of it's made entirely out of clay. And you're holding a piece of ice, cold to the touch, connected to the side of her face. If you'd like, you can make an Arcana check to see if you can identify what's happened here.
Not really my forte, but 15.
Some sort of duplicate, some sort of copy. If the wizards want to give it a go, they can as well.
I'm more concerned with what's going on inside.
Perfect.
Is the old priest, is he still alive?
He's barely hanging on.
Cure wounds,
All right.
second level.
You manage to get him up, and he says, Two women with halos came in through the window, through the wall there, and took him. 2 women? Maybe just one. One stabbed me with her sword. It had the words of the Creator on it. Who were they?
Does any of this, like, mean anything to me? Can I put the clues?
You're a cleric. Words of the Creator are basically God speak. Kind of like if you're familiar with Hebrew / kind of Christian tradition, the Tetragrammaton, the Word of God, the name of God.
Celestial tongue.
No, higher than that. The words of creation.
Interesting. So these are, what, other extra planar beings?
He sounds
Or
delirious.
celestial beings?
He sounds delirious. From what he said, though, the women or woman that came in and stabbed him with a sword, one of them had a sword with the words of creation on it, and they both had halos. No idea why they'd have a need for a boat ride, but if you look out that way, it's some 600 or so feet offshore, some 200 feet down to the water from this cliffside, and you can see that the single lone rider, there's a light that kind of glows out on the lake from her head.
Ooh. Cool.
Okay. Doing the math, you're right back where you started. There are now 4 members of the council that currently reside. If you wish to pick up what you have here and return back, Sophia states that she will act on behalf of Roderick. Actually, she doesn't say that. She says bye, and she starts making her way down the cliff face.
Oh yeah.
Looks like she is going to go and chase the boy.
Dorian calls after her, do you have a boat?
No.
Oh, hope you can swim fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't think she's gonna. He thinks her endeavor is basically doomed to failure, so he's
Yep.
not gonna bother. Can now? Does it look like that boat is sailing out towards a bigger ship?
No, there's definitely no bigger ships on the water. You do have a prisoner, though, in the Spear Maiden. So if you wish to return back to the council and explain of Alicia's treachery, the two people who remain on the no vote side might see that as something that might sway them. If you wish to try and pursue the boat, that's certainly something you can do, but that's basically where I'll write off the story at this point. If you return back to the keep, though, is there anything in particular you want to finish up the night with? I am rounding it up.
By the way. Dorian's going to approach the Spear Maiden with a set of manacles. He's going to say, hands behind your back.
Of course.
Yeah, I will. I guess we'll just take the head and face of the fake lady or Vester as proof that she is of ill intent.
Yeah, as it starts to kind of fall away, you notice it starts to crumble into dust.
Okay, so the Spear Maiden essentially agreed to speak against her, like.
She says if it will help alleviate the matters against her, of course.
And these other individuals who are dead, Dorian's going to, basically go through their belongings, see what kind of insignias of allegiance, or if they have any sort of like notes or letters, communications.
Baron Plumcloak was the half-orc paladin who was decapitated by Sophia before she left. He is a Holy Knight of Atavius, stationed in Belum, apparently serving at the pleasure of one Alicia Vester. The Spear Maiden identifies herself as Muriel Labofish. She is also a Holy Knight, serving at Lady Vester's pleasure. Cassandra Asher is the dead rogue. She is the daughter of one of the merchant lords, specifically Gilliam Asher, basically the sycophant, the one who kept on chiming in, trying to sound like he knew what he was talking about.
We should bring all their heads back just to build more of a case.
You would know
the corruption.
Well, I don't think we should decapitate the merchant lord's daughter. We should maybe try to treat her body with some sort of dignity.
Well, real quick, you would know that decapitating a body, according to the laws of Atavius, is the absolute slight against a person. It is literally a slight against the person himself.
Alright, then put their bodies on the back of the horses. Bring the whole thing. It's fine.
Okay.
I imagine they have horses of their own that they came on, right?
Yeah, there are horses.
Cool. Thankfully, there are extra horses for us to bring back.
Yep.
So we don't have to weigh down our own horses with the dead weight.
So I'm trying to wrap it up. We're doing this petty kind of detail stuff. I just want to make sure you want to take the bodies back. You want to use the Spear Maiden's testimony. And what's your goal? That's what I'm trying to get to. And you guys keep kind of dealing with these nuances. I don't care.
Essentially, we want Lady Vester essentially taken off the council because she's a traitor.
Okay,
she
right.
tried to, and her being off the council would then would put the votes into build the railroad.
Perfect. What you will learn when you do that is that it appears that Lady Vester has, in the last couple of hours that you've been out and about running around, seemingly taken all of her liquid assets out of her banks and her coffers, and she has left the city of Belum. Nobody knows as to where she went. But she was present inside of the keep, but you say that she was present outside of that. The testimony of the Spear Maiden identifies that she used a spell called Simulacrum to create a duplicate of herself to lead the entourage that headed up the quest for Roderick. And the Spear Maiden also identifies that it was their goal to murder him. However, it was the goal of a member of their group, not her, to actually sabotage this by allowing Roderick to be taken by two women. One named Isolota, and the other named Verania. Both of them of the Aasimar race. Servants of the angels.
Wow. That's crazy. So, barring any direct orders from the church, Dorian's next goal, I guess, would probably be to set off in pursuit of Alicia to bring her to justice.
Okay.
As far as like whatever he's going to get up to after this game.
Sure. And yeah, most of you will probably decide to return back to the church because it will be broached that Blackwelder, after learning of Alicia's treachery, gladly signs on. He states that he gave that information to her in confidence and was told that no one would make a move against Lord Galagos. And this proved that she was deceptive, and perhaps it should be opened up to the rest of the world, the city.
So what, Blackwelder's going to go off with him?
Blackwelder's going to sign on for the rail. And then Lady Christinger, seeing that there was treachery to be had, and now that the mage position in the council has basically been usurped, she also nominates to vote for the rail as well. The rest of you return back to the city of Osiria, the capital, and make your success in the matter known to them. That said, great session. Good choices were made. Solid stuff. And hopefully you can all see what unfolds in the Sunday game based on what happened here tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go ahead and kill the stream.
Sweet. We literally won D&D